carried out a reconnaissance of Kohle's place of work and his home, shows 3 accused at the scene of crime during the reconnaissance. During murder, accused left phones in an ambulance. 1 accused shuts off the phone for 8 hours during the murder. All of this has been put out by the NIA in its charge sheet. Now viewers, I'm not saying that this is a verdict. All I'm saying is that this is a charge sheet. It's been accepted by court and the charges have been framed accordingly, and prima facie the NIA claims proof. And remember, the NIA has a 93% plus conviction rate. Now, NIA has also been able to penetrate a WhatsApp chat group called Black Freedom. Kolhe and one of the murder accused are part of the group. It now turns out that Kolhe was killed because he supported Nupur Sharma. Yusuf, his friend for 16 years, and who was part of the group, was so upset that he forwarded Kohle's messages to his killers, sent by Kolhe on the Black Freedom group. So all of these messages that Kolhe was sending in support of Nupur Sharma were forwarded to these individuals. In response to namaz, Ram Bhaks read Hanuman Chalisa. This was sent by Kolhe on the Black Freedom group. It's our duty to support Nupur Sharma. Time to support our sister Nupur. 20% should have overpowered the 80%. All these, I don't even want to go into some of these references, viewers, but all of these references were made by Mr. Kolhe. He was talking in a WhatsApp group amongst a closed circuit of people. He wasn't going out there and spreading dissonance in society at large. Neither was he on a public platform. And therefore, viewers, he should not have been killed. Now, someone might have actually had a problem with what he said and made a complaint. That can be done, but it's for the police in this country to act. It's not for vigilantes to take matters into their own hand, come what may. Now, viewers, the initial probe, as you know, was conducted by the Amravati police, and that happened under the government of the Shiv Sena and the Congress, as well as, of course, the NCP. Now, at that time, this killing was dismissed as a robbery, as some sort of personal enmity, robbery, etc. Today, after what the NIA has found, quite clearly, the BJP and others are coming out and saying that this was an attempt to try and paper over this dastardly act of terror. At least that's what the NIA has described it as. Viewers, the point is that when there were a spate of brutal beheadings, a large number of individuals who, as I told you, ordinarily would have stood with freedom of expression, free speech, the right for people to say what they want to without fear, actually went ahead and blamed Nupur Sharma and these individuals. Now, viewers, Nupur Sharma, guilty or not, will be judged by the court. Nobody can take matters into their own hands, pronounce guilt, and go ahead and take action against those supporting Nupur Sharma or even the personage of Nupur Sharma. But unfortunately, viewers, this entire group has been emboldened because of the support they got. And let me tell you here on record that when the Supreme Court should have drawn a line saying that the violence is condemnable, they went and blamed Nupur Sharma for the violence. They went out there and said that Nupur Sharma, it is because of her that we are seeing all this violence. They even pronounced guilt, viewers, before the matter could even come up for extensive hearing in court. That was the Supreme Court, but there were many others. Asaduddin Owaisi, AMM chief, said Muslims punished for merely being Muslims in this country. So he started whipping up a sense of victimhood. Asaduddin Owaisi, I've already told you, his member of parliament, Imtiaz Jalil, from his own party, says, hang Nupur in Chowraha for insulting Prophet. We have still in this country the law of the land. No one can call for anyone to be hung by vigilantes. Not Nupur, PM and RSS responsible for all of this, said Rahul Gandhi, Congress MP. Then Jairam Ramesh says that BJP single-handedly responsible for igniting passions. So viewers, here again we are rationalizing the response. You can protest, but you can't threaten violence. That is going beyond, viewers, ignited passions. That is threatening violence. That is threatening to take the law of the land into your own hands. There'll be anarchy if everyone started doing that, whatever the provocation. Akhilesh Yadav, Samajwadi Party chief, says punish not just face but BJP for disturbing harmony. So inviting again a backlash on the BJP. Viewers, the time has come to ask some basic questions. Who emboldened these vigilantes? And has the time come perhaps to name, shame, and even punish those who sat and fanned the flames of obscurantism? It's a question that needs to be asked, and it needs to be interrogated honestly on this show. And I want to begin first with Ishkaran Bhandari, a noted advocate who's on this show. And I also want to bring into this conversation Kamruzaman Chaudhary and Asif Suhail, political analyst. Ishkaran Bhandari, you have been on this show earlier. Rahul. You also had warned that those who were trying to rationalize this violent backlash were actually emboldening the forces of obscurantism. And today your words seem to have been prophetic. The NIA has said that all of these sentiments that were expressed by, and there's no other way of saying this, but the enablers of this violence led to all these obscurantists, these vigilantes becoming emboldened. And look what happened.
Rahul, Lenin famously used to say the aim of terrorism is to terrorize. The aim of these radicals was twofold. One on Nupur Sharma and second on those who spoke up for Nupur Sharma. Let us deal with those who spoke up for Nupur Sharma first. Umesh Kolhe, 11 members of a group form a plan. 11 members, see the volume. Then there were reports that this was their second attempt. They had a spy unit to spy on Umesh Kolhe ji. Then they had targeted 3 other citizens, which was not carried out. This was happening in Maharashtra, where in Rajasthan, Kanhaiya Lal Teli, maybe that report will also come out, also butchered on the same issue, and they proudly brandished the knives. Why? Because the aim is to terrorize people, that if you speak, this is the fate, and if you share, this is the fate. Whatever we decree is what you have to speak. Beyond that, this is the fate. Now let's come to Nupur Sharma. Is death only a physical death? What has happened to Nupur Sharma in public life or her professional life, who was a practicing advocate, our colleague in High Court and Supreme Court? She has disappeared from every platform. That is something we must also not forget. So the aim of these terrorists, they don't care if 11 go to jail or 20 go to jail. The aim is very simple. This is how we will operate. If you speak anything we do not approve of, this is what we will do to you. This is what we will do to anybody who stands up for free speech. Now the question is on Bharat. How do we deal with this mindset, and what is the solution? One solution is what the French President Macron did. He did not bow down. He took a very clear stand. But what is the stand that Bharat takes? I am sorry, I am very disappointed in the stand of Bharat, and I hope they take a decisive stand. Otherwise, the terrorists will succeed.
This is very interesting. This is very, very interesting, Mr. Kamruzaman Chaudhary. You have today a very clear idea of what happened. The NIA has submitted its charge sheet. It has based it on forensic evidence. And today we know that Umesh Kolhe was murdered by radicalized Islamists of the Tablighi Jamaat. So all this hysteria, this villainization of those that supported Nupur Sharma, all it did was to actually embolden these obscurantists, vigilantes, who took it upon themselves to avenge the alleged insult or dishonor of the Prophet. Somewhere you have to put your hand up and say that you were on the wrong side of the argument, that the Congress was on the wrong side of the argument. What are we doing here?
No. Rahul, first and foremost, I can't understand the crux of the debate tonight. Is it the crime that has been committed in the murder of Umesh Kolhe? That's one part that you are debating, and the second part is you are trying to implicate, or the NIA has tried to implicate, the Tablighi Jamaat in this. That's a difference between the two entirely. I agree that the NIA is right in its investigation. Maybe let
Sir,
the courts
can I ask
decide
you,
whether these
I'll
people
explain this debate to you.
guilty or not.
I'll explain it to you since you are seeking a clarification.
Can I finish?
No, since you don't know, since you don't know what the debate is about, let me know. Then if you've understood, then answer my question. No, Mr. Chaudhary, please, let me repeat my question to you once again.
Because I understand the propaganda very clear.
There is no propaganda. This is a question. Are you going to take responsibility for not standing up to those? 1 minute. Are you going to take responsibility for not condemning those who are out there calling for the punishment of Nupur Sharma and those supporting Nupur Sharma? Like Imtiaz Jalil in the state of Maharashtra, it was your government. Did you book that person? No, you didn't. Why didn't you book the member of parliament who said in the chowk of Aurangabad, we need to hang Nupur Sharma? Who was he to dispense justice or decide a punishment? And why didn't you book him? That's the question.
Rahul, Rahul, basically I don't want to get into the debate. Whatever has happened with Nupur Sharma is wrong.
No, sir, people are dying. People are dying because of
it is a right.
No, you have created an enabling environment.
No, people are dying because of this. Propaganda and the hate.
No.
You have created.
No. One second. I'm going to lower your fader. This is very dangerous. Once again, Kamruzaman Chaudhary is using a forum to rationalize the threats. Viewers, in our democracy, people rightly or wrongly say things. There are laws when they cross the line. There are laws. 1 second. Rahul Ishwar, I'm just coming out to you. There are laws that are on the books in the IPC that deal with those that abuse their rights. In fact, even lay people who are not conversant with the law, like Mohandas Pai, who are not lawyers, will second what I am saying. There is a law. That law must be applied. If Nupur Sharma has transgressed and she has insulted the Prophet, if that is what the courts deem has happened, they will punish her according to the laws. But viewers, if madcaps, bigots, supremacists decide, no, we are going to punish Nupur Sharma, and there is a whole group from the Congress party and other parts of the ecosystem that say, no, this is deserved because you see, Nupur actually said something wrong. Who are they, first of all, to decide what she said was right or wrong? Rahul Ishwar, Mohandas Pai, in that order. Rahul Ishwar, please explain to Kamruzaman Chaudhary why people like him have blood on their hands tonight. And I'm saying it with deliberation. Why do they have it? Can you explain to him?
This is absolutely dangerous. You are giving an intellectual warfare, rationalization, justification for killing people. See, if somebody is offended, they can go to police, they can file 153, 295. My brother Ishkaran will be a better person to talk to him about the legality. But if you are offended, you have a legal recourse. But killing and justifying killing by saying that it is hate and propaganda is absolutely shocking. Please remember, radicalization, terrorism should not be justified. The second worst thing after terrorism is justifying terrorism. We should never justify any kind of radicalization from any group anywhere in the world. And let us be honest, there are radicals who killed Kohle and it was painful. You can debate about what Nupur Sharma ji said, and I totally disagree with her, with due respect. I respect, and whenever I talk about Prophet Muhammad, I say Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. But that doesn't mean, even if it is for Lord Sri Ram, Prophet Muhammad, Jesus Christ, they are using a wrong word. I can go and kill that person. I can go for violence. So this is the one important thing that we have to tell. Don't justify, don't rationalize, don't give an intellectual cover fire, because it is as dangerous or second dangerous to spreading terrorism.
Exactly. This amounts to Mohandas Pai, when we have seen in the past Gaurakshas, for example, taking matters into their own hands. Now supposing, and this happened, because in one particular case, a bunch of such individuals were given a party platform. And there was an outcry. Times now, a large number, even Kamruzaman's party said that this was wrong. But look at that. You have criticized the BJP for doing wrong things, like giving certain individuals, vigilantes, a party platform, inviting them, celebrating them. But here, when people like Imtiaz Jalil, Member of Parliament, said, hang Nupur in Charaha for insulting Prophet Muhammad, you didn't do anything. Why? This is double standards.
These are double standards, and all political parties and all political leaders must make sure that none of their actions justify violence or threats by anybody in a society. It doesn't matter who you are. If you threaten somebody, you call for violence, you put a bounty on somebody's head, you call for people to kill people, and you come march on the street with threatening slogans, you must be put behind bars, and the law should be applied for everybody. The moment you accept these people going all around and having those slogans and threatening people, putting bounties on people's head and not getting punished openly, then you are giving the ground to these radicals to do what they want and invite violence. And we must remember that Indira Gandhi was a victim of violence. Rajiv Gandhi was a victim of violence. They all died because of this violent, violent propaganda and violent, agenda that some people had. So all of us should join together. And if members of political parties don't do it, there's a big shame on them. I don't know what they stand for, how they can be good leaders of this country if they do not. And they must remember that the people of this country are watching. People of this country are watching. They want peace. They don't like radical slogans by anybody. And they want these radicals to be punished and the rule of law to be enforced by everybody. There can be no distinction between the Hindu, Muslim or anybody when the rule of law is there. Anybody threatening, anybody calling for violence, anybody putting a bounty on anybody's head, the full force of the law should be there, and all political leaders should call for the law to be applied without fear or favor against everybody who transgress the law. That is what political issue. Anybody goes against that is a big shame, and the people of this country will punish them by not voting for them.
Yes,
Rahul,
that's right.
Just one small.
Yeah, please make
Rahul,
your point. Ishkan Bhandari, yes.
Rahul, the minute we did not punish people for putting bounties when events happened outside India, 5 crore, 51 lakh, I don't know what amount of bounties, and they were political leaders. We did not book them in terror charges. That's what encouraged it. The minute you put a price on somebody's head, that is not mere free speech. That is a reward for a murder. Those people should have been booked for terror laws, and we probably would have not reached this stage today.
Let me ask
Rahul,
Rahul, one second. Let's get one second. Let's get Mr. Chaudhary to respond. I think now he's probably understood. The penny must have dropped. Mr. Chaudhary, have you enabled people such as this to take the law into their own hands by giving them cover fire? Rahul Ishwar used that word. You gave them the intellectual cover fire. This is how they responded. How is this any different from what the Gaurakshaks did? You tell me. And if that was condemnable, isn't this condemnable?
No. Who is not condemning it? Who is not condemning it?
You say to
Rahul,
me tonight.
Don't try to create a propaganda
You
and
say
create
tonight.
an agenda for the next few days.
Really?
You
I have
are
made an
creating
agenda.
one. Let me complete.
I have
This
made
is
an
not
agenda.
fair.
One
If you
minute,
don't
one
let me
minute.
speak,
1 second.
If it is a monologue,
don't
it's
you
okay.
sit here and give me a lecture. You
yes,
enablers.
of course you have made an
enablers
agenda.
of
Don't-
you enablers
do you
of
want
all
me
sorts
to
of vigilantism.
fight
This
to
is what
the
the Congress
proof?
party
You
said.
are
viewers.
enabling a hate
1 second.
agenda tonight.
Let me tell you what
No,
the Congress
this is
party
what
said.
you are
Viewers.
doing tonight.
Here
Why
is
do
Jairam
you
Ramesh.
bring in
Lower is
that
fader.
is-
BJP single-handedly responsible for igniting passions. This is what he said. Also went on to say, the Supreme Court has held a mirror to this government and called out the base ugliness of its actions. It's no secret that the BJP seeks to profit from inflaming communal passions. Today, the Supreme Court has strengthened the resolve in every single one of us who is fighting these destructively divisive ideologies. The court has very rightly called out the BJP spokesperson is single-handedly responsible for igniting emotions across the country. Now, viewers, let me tell you. When there are individuals who have gone out there and insulted the religious sentiments of the Hindu community, what is said? Jail those people. Put them behind bars. Does anyone say hang them in the public square? Does anyone justify that reaction by A, not taking action, or B, by saying, well, these people deserve that? No, viewers, they don't. Because they are not motivated by ideologies that are as hardline as this. Asif Suhail, I'll ask you a simple question. Kamruzaman Chaudhary cleverly said he didn't understand this entire story. I am asking you a very simple question, will you condemn tonight on this show the statement of Imtiaz Jalil, hang Nupur in Choraha for insulting Prophet? Number one, I hope you do. And number two, most importantly, will you condemn all those who were raising this slogan, Sartan se Juda, without any qualification? Take that position tonight.
Yeah, I will condemn every act that is against the humanity, against any caste, creed or religion, whether it's a Imtiaz Jalil or whether it's a Yogi Adityanath or any other BJP, RSS MLA or MP.
Imtiaz Jalil, I'm asking you, should Imtiaz Jalil,
let me
should Imtiaz Jalil have been booked? Very simple question.
That's what
should he have been booked?
I already said you. See,
Yes.
Nobody support this kind of statement, whether it's from any Imtiaz Jalil or from any other person. See, that is a personal stand. There are a lot of BJP and RSS people have spoke wrong about the Muslim
That's
to
right.
set ablaze and to kill them, and
That's
it's
right.
on the record. So
That's
we
right.
should not condemn. My concern is about my country. I'm concerned about the Indians and their security. Because of dirty politics, the entire nation is
So
suffering.
who played this
Every
dirty
caste,
politics? Now viewers, let me
every
tell you who
religion
played
is
it.
suffering
And I want to bring in
because of
Majid
dirty
Hydari here.
politics. That's what-
I'm glad you've
that's
taken
what-
an evolved position. Please tell Kamruzaman Chaudhary this. That by sitting here
And see,
and rationalizing vigilantism, he is playing dirty politics.
The time of if the Nupur Sharma,
So I'm asking
Nupur
you,
Sharma
Asif
has been
Sohail,
punished,
Asif
that
Sohail,
time itself the cases have
Asif-
been booked properly.
Exactly. Now
we
listen
would
to
have
me.
not done that.
Asif
there are
Sohail.
let me finish
Asif
it out.
Sohail, one
There are
second.
there
This is
are
very important.
mob
This is a
lynching
point
was
of
been
inflection
done.
in this debate.
What about that?
One second.
There
Asif
was a
Sohail.
bomb blast has been done in the India.
Asif
What is the
Sohail.
conviction rate about that?
Asif Sohail, one second. I'm not getting into corruption here. This is not about corruption. This is a straightforward debate about the issue. Let's stick to the issue. And
See, I'm
my
not
question
talking
to
about
one
the
second,
corruption.
Asif
That's
Sohail,
what,
please.
Those who are related to any school of thought, political party, that's a different story. But we as an Indian, we should unite and fight against this cruelty and against all these atrocities.
Right.
To
So
any
now I'm
religion.
asking you, was the Congress party wrong in trying to suggest that the backlash, the vigilantism was justifiable? It's a very simple question to you. Asif bhai.
Yeah. देखिए जो कांग्रेस ने कहा है सी इट्स नॉट एन एनी ऑफिशियल स्टेटमेंट बाय द कांग्रेस इट वाज अ पर्सनल स्टैंड ओवर द लीडर दैट्स व्हाट आई एम
So
सेइंग
Jairam Ramesh is the national spokesperson of the political party, the Congress party. Now don't give all these fig leaves. Don't give fig leaves. This has been said by Rahul Gandhi. He doesn't speak in personal capacity, for God's sakes. 1 minute. Let me bring in. Okay. So viewers, here we have it. Here we have it. Yogi Adityanath is wrong. Congress party is always right. The ecosystem is always right. Look at the way. Yes.
Our Prime Minister will endorse that.
Condemn rather than do
Let's
monkey
not blame the
balancing.
Congress party
Monkey
or any other
balancing is
party.
what they are doing, says Rahul Ishwar. Why are you monkey
Asif,
balancing?
can't we at least for once, at least when people have lost life, can't we do some unequivocal condemning rather than merely monkey balancing? This side said that side said. See, people have lost their life. Their families might be seeing this. What will they feel when you're simply, when you condemn honestly? That brings confidence. That will bring more unity and harmony rather than merely brushing it under the carpet. Can't we be a bit more intellectually honest and condemn these kind of things rather than merely balance and say that this and that, bring other people in? So please, I believe rather than whataboutery, be
Majid
honest
Hydari,
about these things.
The same question applies to you. I'm going to come straight. Should Nupur Sharma and those who supported her been threatened by death? Simple question.
Rahul Sahab, firstly, being a law-abiding citizen, I'll demand strictest punishment for those found guilty in the case. And law nowhere asked me to endorse NIA charge sheet as being gospel truth. So why do we need to discuss it? Now, if we discuss it, I have one question, sir, before responding to your question.
You mean to say no
Sir,
one
my
killed
question
Umesh
is very
Kolhe?
simple.
So no one killed Umesh Kolhe. You see, this is where
No,
the
sir, I'm
problem
not
with
saying
you
that.
is. This is where the problem is with you. The problem
Sir,
is,
you don't-
I am not
sir,
sitting
you
here.
don't
One
want to
second,
accept the reality.
Mr. Hydari, I am not sitting here and rubber stamping the NIA. Okay, I made that very clear. So let's not go down that. There are certain findings and certain conclusions. Prima facie, people have been arrested. prima facie there is a case. Just as there is a case against Nupur, there is a case against these 11 Tablighi Jamaat supporters. If the case against Nupur is strong enough for you, then so should this case be strong enough for you. Now,
Sir,
one second. I'm only asking you a simple
sir.
question. Simple question. Does anyone have the right in this country to threaten someone for making a statement, however deemed offensive it is, to the Prophet? It's a very simple question, Majid Bhai.
Sir, the law does not permit it. But
The law
there is
doesn't
one
permit
point,
it.
Sir, we live in a country where
We live in a
every day
country where
80
we have a
cases of
constitution.
intentional homicide take place.
Absolutely.
Why this one case
So-
of intentional homicide is being discussed and handed over to NIA and a UAPA case made out of that. So it's a very simple question. 80 intentional homicides per day in our country, and we are discussing one intentional homicide. Why so, sir?
Are you
And why was this
trivializing
particular
Majid?
case?
Sir,
handed over
because
to
the
NIA?
conclusions reached
Chor
here
ki
are very
dandi tinka.
disturbing.
This is what
This
we
was
call
an
chor
act
ki
of
dandi
terror.
tinka.
This was an act
Are you
of terror.
trivializing it?
Well, one second.
No,
Yes,
I'm not
he is
trivializing. It's a
trivializing
case of
it. He is
intentional
absolutely
homicide. It's not an act of
trivializing
terror
it.
all the time.
Rahul
Then
Ishwar,
all the
explain to him how he is
cases per day are
trivializing it.
act of
Explain.
terror.
Majid, just 2 lines. Coming from Kerala, we had an experience where a professor's hand was chopped off only because Kerala society stood strong and said this kind of radicalization is unacceptable. Our major Muslim organization came forward, Hindu and Christian organization came forward and said this is absolutely unacceptable. A person lost his hand. See, I am also a religious believer. When somebody talks about Sri Ram, I also get angry. But that doesn't give me right to go and chop the hands or kill a person. That's the reason why. Let us not trivialize the issue. There is a radical Islamist
I respect
mindset.
every word of yours, but my brother, if this is the yardstick, why is Sidhu Moosewala's murder not being seen as act of terror?
Now,
I mean,
viewers,
why
let
two
me tell you.
yardsticks? Please,
Let me tell
please,
you.
let Rahul Shiv Shankar
Let me
साहब
tell you. I
enlighten
don't-
us, हमारा मार्गदर्शन करें. Why is
हाँ, मैं
Sidhu
आपका
Moosewala's
मैं
murder
आपका
not an act of
मार्गदर्शन
terror
करूंगा.
and his case not
मैं
handed
आपका
over to
मार्गदर्शन
CKY?
करूंगा.
Why so, sir? Please.
Okay, Haidari
Please,
साहब,
why
आपको
this
डिफिकल्टी हो
double
रही है
standard?
to accept this. I will only read out the NIA. I am not an investigator. I'll read out what the NIA have said. Investigation has clearly emerged, and this is page 31 of the charge sheet. 17.48 is the clause. Investigation has clearly emerged that accused person A1 to A11, all 11 of them, hatched a criminal conspiracy to kill Umesh Kolhe, who had no property dispute, no history of fighting with the accused persons. Thereby, they formed a terrorist gang. Terrorist gang, viewers. Terrorist gang. This was not about settling some person. Now, listen to me, Haidari. I have to lower your.
It's not gangstry, please. Terrorism is not gangstry. This is legally, logically incorrect. So let me correct NIA on this.
Mr. Haidari, I'm going to lower your
Terrorism is not about
fader.
gang.
Please allow me to read out. You asked me, Margdarshan Kije. I am reading out today what the NIA has said. Now, if you don't have the patience to hear this, you can leave the debate, but don't interfere. I'm only setting out what the people have on the NIA, the investigators have said. Now, please listen to me, okay? Since you asked for the information, now be kind enough to hear the information. I'll go again. 17.48. Investigation has clearly emerged that the accused persons A1 to A11 hatched a criminal conspiracy to kill Umesh Kolhe, who had no property dispute, no history of fighting with the accused person, by forming a terrorist gang, being highly religiously radicalized. To avenge Umesh Kolhe, who posted WhatsApp post in support of Nupur Sharma. The terrorist gang was highly influenced by the ideology of brutality, Gustake Nabi ki ek hi saja, sartan se juda, thereby brutally committed murder of innocent person Umesh Kolhe in public area. The act committed by the accused is not a simpliciter murder, these are the words, simpliciter, but a terror act of well-planned criminal conspiracy hatched by religiously radicalized Muslim youth, in brackets Tablighi Jamaat, to strike a terror into the minds of people and section of the people in Amravati and other states in India. That is why this is diabolic. That is why it is being discussed on national TV, viewers. We are not discussing a small killing over some loan or some property dispute. As bad as that may be, this, viewers, is of a different standard. And that's why it's forming this debate. That's why it's front page news of the newspapers. Why is it on the front page of newspapers? Ask yourself. It disturbed public tranquility, routine social and economic life, safety and security of the common people, and also threatened the unity, security, and sovereignty of India, as well as promoted enmities, hatred, and ill will among the communities, which is prejudice to the maintenance of harmony between different religious groups. Majid Haidari, this is what it was, an attack on the sovereignty of our country, and you don't want it to be discussed and don't want it to be described as an act of terror? Sorry, sir, but today you are behaving not like a friend of the country. Yes, Mr. Haidari, respond.
One victim of crime does not represent India's sovereignty. For that matter, our biggest stake of sovereignty is from China, where we have infiltration built all the time.
There you go.
But we are
so
not
when a Gaurakshak takes the life of one innocent Muslim, then viewers, it is a massive assault on minority rights with an intention of dividing this country and thereby undermining the sovereignty of our country. But when the reverse happens, viewers, then we shouldn't discuss it. Then we should talk about some other murder, maybe in some Jhumri Talaya. Now, Iskan Bhandari, how do you respond to this attempt?
More people than terrorism.
Yes,
but does that mean we should not discuss terrorism?
Yes,
They are two
Rahul,
different contexts. Terrorism in ideology and intention is a serious issue.
Very good.
Rahul, I thought I will be ceased to be amazed by the ridiculous or juvenile arguments of Mr. Haidari, who calls it an intentional homicide. By that logic, 2611 is an intentional homicide. What Yaqub Menon did is an intentional homicide. All murders are, of course, intentional homicides, but some are terror acts. When there is no personal dispute or enmity between people and they are trying to send a political message, a message which will lead to law and order situation in India, when the aim is to terrorize other people, that is called terrorism. Otherwise, all deaths are intentional homicide, all murder cases are intentional homicide. So let us please be very clear that this justification, Mr. Haidari, I didn't interrupt you no matter how ridiculous you were. I didn't interrupt you no matter how ridiculous you were, because I wanted the nation to hear your ridiculous arguments. Yaqub Menon was intentional homicide. Afzal Guru, what he did was intentional homicide, or were they acts of terror? Please answer that first. I'll wait. Afzal Guru, Yaqub Menon,
you are messing up things for the sake of it. The same NIA gives clean chit to those accused in separate terror. Should I remind you of what Hemant Karkare said?
What they did, was it intentional homicide or act of terror? Was the attack on Parliament an attack on a building, or was it an act of terror?
Honorable Supreme Court has declared it as an act of terror, but NIA, which is being seen as a case parrot of BJP, writing a script all the times in 2014, we don't find this to be credible.
Okay, now hang on. Let me step in here. Let's lower everyone's faders. Viewers, this is the lowest of the low point. There are several Hindus that have been booked under UAPA. I can remind Majid Haidari and he will not know what to say. We just did a debate yesterday on Colonel Purohit. And they called it Hindu terror, viewers. If I were to use the word Islamist terror here, they will cut my head off. The same people today who are pointing out that there is some unevenness or there is no even-handed approach by the NIA. Viewers, this is the problem in this country, and there are enough out there who will support the Majid Haidaris, the Kamru Zamans, the Congress, the ecosystem, the leftists, all so-called self-professed secularists and free speech activists who come out and say that they stand up for free speech, that it should not be punished by vigilantes. But today, viewers, there is a telling silence amongst their ranks. And you have to ask yourself, why? Is it because of appeasement, vote bank politics, narrow political self-interest? There is no other way of looking at it, viewers. No other way. There's no other conclusion that one can draw. I need to move on, because there's another very big story that Times Now has reported. It's an exclusive story, viewers, and it is a story that basically disproves the claims that have been made. What really happened on the 9th of December, viewers? What really happened? What happened in the Yangtze, or the banks of the Yangtze Valley. The clash that took place between the troops of the Indian and Chinese army has, of course, become mired in politics. Opposition parties led by the Congress have argued that India was caught napping while the Chinese came and occupied our territory. Rahul Gandhi has even said that our soldiers were beaten. Pitai ho gayi thi, even as we could do precious little in return. Now we show you actual satellite maps and pictures from the day of the clash, before and after, that will show you the full picture. These are satellite images analyzed by the ASCI. The picture of how the Chinese army plotted the December 9 face-off, but how India was doubly prepared to outmaneuver and outfight them. Let's show you those pictures. There it is. 6 frontline outposts along the LAC have been constructed. This is the Yangtze Plateau in Tawang. Here at the LAC, India has consistently beefed up its defenses and controls the ridge line at the LAC, which gives it incomparable advantage of the height at 5,700 meters above sea level. India's defenses at Yangtze consist of a network of 6 frontline outposts along the LAC. These outposts are supplied by a forward base about 1.5 kilometers from the LAC. The Australian Institute has approximated that a battalion-sized deployment is done at the forward base. Beyond this, there are other bases of the Indian Army in valleys below the plateau, all of them connected by steep dirt tracks. Let me explain to you the significance of this. What you see here is a closer satellite picture of the Yangtze ridge line, which not only shows you the frontline outposts, but also the pillboxes and the layers of stone walls made to block off access from the Chinese side of the LAC into Indian territory. Just for your reference, let me again play this video of Indian and Chinese soldiers clashing. Remember this? This video shows PLA soldiers trying to clamber up a steep ridge and being beaten back. Now this satellite picture, which we'll go back to, will give you perspective. Let's go back to that satellite picture. Indian soldiers were here on the ridge at the 6 frontline posts, and this was the stone wall you see here in the picture and in that particular video. It must be remembered that in the past year, India has resurfaced many roads on our side and also constructed new dirt tracks. And all of this work has been done by the Indian government because we know of China's activities. See what they have done on their side of the LAC. In just the last year, China has upgraded its access roads and made a road from Tawang, New Village, till a point close to the ridgeline. They've also made a small PLA camp at the end of this road. And all of this build came up to a head on December 9. Were we caught sleeping? Were we beaten and helpless? Far from it. We've already shown you how Indian posts are at a commanding height along the ridgeline at the Yangtze. On December 9, Chinese soldiers first used this road from Tawang, New Village towards the LAC. After this was the dirt track that the Chinese soldiers tried to take onto the top. There you can see it very clearly. Satellite imagery from December 14 still shows trodden tracks leading from the road terminus to the Indian outposts. But the Indians were aware, ready and waiting. The Chinese came up against an Indian wall and was subsequently pushed back. What do these pictures tell us? The message is clear. Here you can see that India occupies a commanding position on the ridgeline with a set of 6 outposts serviced by a forward base. Now let's open this up, because we know what Rahul Gandhi says, ki hum pit gaye. The others have said we've been caught napping. Sanjay Jha, how do you explain this? This is now satellite imagery. This is definitive proof that we are standing in a dominant position, that we are on top, not China.
Rahul, a very quick response. Number one, let us make a distinction between the Indian armed forces, who are doing a fantastic job of defending our boundaries. I don't want to blur that with the political establishment led by the Bharatiya Janata Party. I think the attempt which is done by the BJP is to shoot from the shoulders of our brave soldiers who are exposed to high risk. You're absolutely right. Who are working hard to build a border infrastructure. who are currently probably standing at the borders in very different, very difficult, climatic conditions and are risking their lives for India. The tragedy, and that is the point that you need to understand here, that the opposition has been making from time to time.
One second. I want to play out now. Hang on. All these are great words. Sanjay Jha, you're a true patriot, no doubt. Right?
I am. I'm very proud of that.
But then tell me, when your boss, when your putative boss, let me not call him your boss because your boss is Mr. Kharge, but your putative boss comes out and says that hum pit gaye. Who do you think he's talking about?
Okay, let me explain that. The point that he's trying to make, now you can, twist the semantic of the term. The Indian soldiers are being exposed to high risk because I think the biggest problem seems to be the diplomatic initiatives that need to be taken from both sides. I'm not saying that India itself needs to be kind of trying to, take the whole big pragmatic initiative. But you got to understand you're dealing with a very dangerous,
I'm sorry, sir.
And an irrational neighbor who is capable of being very adventurous in the borders.
I'm sorry, that line is not defined properly. Indian soldiers also cross it. And they also approach Chinese posts. And we know that there is a pushback. There are clashes. At that time, you don't commend the Indian government and say, oh, wow, you have really given them some sort of chamanprash that has given them the energy to cross the line. Come on.
Rahul, I think the biggest
don't trivialize this debate. Let me bring in the BJP to respond.
I want to make only one line.
No, please. You can't say that we are sitting there with our cheek turned, ready to be slapped around. That's not the case. There is you talked about preparedness. Here is the physical evidence of it. Look at our posts. These people are serving, risking frostbite and their lives, and you are trivializing their valor, their preparedness, their ability to sense the other side coming, and
Rahul,
their sense of commitment to this country. I'm sorry.
Giving a graphic description
let me first bring in. Actually, let me bring in the senior fellow of. Let me bring in the senior Sushant Singh. No, 1 second. Yeah, you can have that conversation. I believe that.
Why did the Prime Minister
1 second. I believe that the army chief. Excuse me, Sanjay Jha. I believe that the army chief should come out and give us all a presentation. But that doesn't excuse what Rahul Gandhi and the Congress party have done by suggesting that we are not prepared, that our army is some sort of an underprepared, unprofessional force that gets pitted. That's ridiculous. Sushant Singh,
the job of
senior
the
fellow
opposition to raise the red flag.
Yes, you can ask, but sir, you have to base it. When you talk about army, it's a very sensitive issue. They're at the front line.
Rahul, do you know how?
Come with facts. 1 minute. Let me bring in Sushant Singh. Sushant Singh, am I wrong?
In Arunachal Pradesh,
different
reports.
Sushant Singh, there are two issues here. Okay, Sanjay Jha, please let him respond to you. Let him respond to you, sir. It's not fair. You're just railroading. Let him respond to you, sir. You made your point. We've understood your point. Your point is that Rahul Gandhi was being metaphorical, that, we have tried to twist his words, semantics, this, that. Then you say, no, he was suggesting that we've thrown our forces in harm's way. They're a professional army. They are going to have to stand up and defend against those that covet India. And there will be, throughout history, and have been and will be, people who will. We can't control the minds of Xi and that wretched, buffoonish foreign affairs minister of Pakistan, Bhutto. We can't sit there. They will do what they want to do. We can only be prepared and we can teach them a lesson when the opportunity presents itself. Am I wrong, Sushant Singh? I want to bring you in before I get the BJP into this.
So, Rahul, a couple of points. Number one, I find this rather strange when people like Sanjay Jha and others say, well, the army is very valiant, the army is standing out there, but the government, is creating all kinds of problems. The army operates on the instructions of the government. If the government does not give it clear instructions, the army will not carry out certain steps and certain measures, right? So if the army has thrown back the Chinese attempt and repulsed the Chinese attempt to infiltrate and to capture any kind of territory in Arunachal, it is because clear instructions have been issued to the army. Number one. Number two, if the infrastructure is being built out there, it is not being built by the soldiers from their own salaries. It is being built from allocations which have been given by the government of India to the Indian Army and to the Border Roads Organization to build the necessary infrastructure. Infrastructure which was sorely lacking in the past. Number three, Sanjay Jha talks about, and I agree with the larger point he makes, that you should try and take certain diplomatic initiatives. Fine. When you take diplomatic initiatives, right? Then the president of the Congress party says, "Aap jhule pe jhula rahe the unko." That was a diplomatic initiative you were trying to take. You held two informal summits with the Chinese. You were trying to apprise them, and I know it that there have been constant efforts by the government of India to try and talk to the Chinese and try and start settling the border issue. Now, if the Chinese are obdurate, if the Chinese are belligerent, what are we supposed to do? Are we not supposed to fight back? Which is exactly what the government of India is doing at this point of time. Of course, through the Indian Army, to make a distinction that the army is separate and the government is separate. This is not Pakistan or this is not any other third world country, right? And finally, the evidence which is coming out from the ground up, not only the satellite evidence, Rahul, which you have shown, but even the testimonies which are coming out from there, the reports which have been filed from there, make it very clear that the army was aware that there is movement on the Chinese side.
Okay.
They preempted whatever the Chinese were trying to do and they repulsed that attack. Now, if despite that you want to keep raising these issues and make, issues out of non-issues, then there's nothing anybody can say or do.
There's nothing anyone can say and do. That is propaganda, and you can't keep constantly pricking propaganda. But let me bring in Sanju Verma. Best place to expose whether you want to call it propaganda by your detractors in the opposition, madam, is Parliament. Put out the facts, these facts in the Lok Sabha. If it so needs to be done, even have a debate. Best thing. Why don't you do that?
Okay, Rahul, I will answer that question of yours as to why not have a discussion. But let me just say one thing. I saw that viral clip yesterday when P. Chidambaram made references to some documents in public domain and a video which shows that the Chinese are actually vetoing our soldiers. And when Jagdeep Dhankar, the chairperson of Rajya Sabha, used his authority and clearly told Chidambaram, please show the documents, place them before the House, place the so-called video that you keep referring to on the floor of the House before the members of the House. P. Chidambaram simply refused to do so, and he digressed and deflected, but did not present the so-called documents which they have been using to delegitimize the efforts by the government and the Indian Army to show the Chinese their place. Point number one. Point number two. What has been the thorn in the flesh for the Chinese? Why did Galwan happen? Or for that matter, why was there this skirmish in the Tawang sector? We all know it is because of the Darbuk Shayak Daulat Beg Oldie DS video road of 255 kilometers which connects Leh with Daulat Beg Oldie. Earlier the distance used to be covered in 2 to 3 days. Now the distance between Leh and Daulat Beg Oldie, it is covered in what time period? Barely in 4 to 5 hours, which obviously strengthens our ability to marshal troops during emergency. I just want to ask the Congress one thing. The DS-BDO road started when Atal Bihari Vajpayee was the Prime Minister in the year 2000. Why was construction of the DS-BDO road stopped when the Congress came to power in 2004? The Chenani-Nashri tunnel, again very important for security at our various border points, started in 2007, Rahul 20 seconds. Why was the Chenani-Nashri tunnel not completed? It was completed by the Modi government in 2017. You started, when I say you, I mean the Congress, you started the Bhola-Sadia bridge, which connects northern Assam with eastern parts of Arunachal Pradesh in 2011. Then without any
I understand.
constructing the
Built up infrastructure,
bridge, which was completed by the Modi government.
Making China extremely edgy. Now viewers, let me tell you one thing. There are two questions that are constantly being raised, and I'm wrapping out, run out of time. One is on the valor of our forces, whether they were thrashed or not thrashed, and on their preparedness, on India's preparedness. Best answer is to show the videos, the satellite pictures as evidence. Either you have the army hold a press conference, or viewers, in Parliament, all of this should be presented by the Defence Minister. And I can tell you, the opposition will feel very sorry and small after this. Let's hope it happens. If for no other reason but to do justice to those who are serving us and who keep us safe. I leave it at that, viewers. The news are coming up.
आजकल कार्स में इतनी ज्यादा हाई टेक्नोलॉजी आ गई है जिसके बारे में बात किए बिना नहीं रहा जा सकता, और इसी वजह से आज इस मर्सिडीज EQS जो 580 4MATIC है उसे हम लेकर आए हैं। इसका रिव्यू, इसकी ड्राइव परफॉर्मेंस तो आप जान चुके हैं, लेकिन इससे कुछ एक कूल फीचर्स ऐसे हैं जिनको मैं खुद से एक्सपीरियंस करना चाह रहा था, इसलिए मैंने ड्राइव नहीं किया था, और इनके जो फीचर्स हैं वो एक्चुअली माइंड ब्लोइंग नजर आएंगे। तो ऐसे ही कुछ एक खास फीचर्स के बारे में आज मैं इस स्टोरी में आपको बताने वाला हूं। सबसे पहली चीज जो मुझे कूलनेस के हिसाब से भी और रोड सेफ्टी के हिसाब से भी बहुत ही अच्छी लगी वो है इसके एडेप्टिव जो हेडलैम्प्स हैं। और ये हेडलैम्प्स दरअसल काम ये करते हैं कि जब आप ऑटो मोड में इसे चलाएं तो फिर लो बीम हाई बीम में आपको शिफ्ट करने की जरूरत नहीं है। ऑटो मोड में आप चलाएं और कार जो है वो इंटेलिजेंट है और जो हेडलैम्प्स हैं वो अडेप्टिव हैं, तो आने वाले जो ट्रैफिक है, आने वाली कार्स हैं, ड्राइवर्स हैं, उन्हें ये ब्लाइंड नहीं करती है। लाइट्स अपने आप एडजस्ट हो जाती है और जब सामने कुछ नहीं रहता है तो सड़क बहुत दूर तक, बहुत आगे तक आपको रोशन मिलती है, लाइट्स काफी दूर तक जाते हैं। तो ये बहुत ही स्मार्ट आपको इसके हेडलैम्प का पूरा सेटअप रहेगा। कूलनेस की बात करें तो एक अलग लेवल है, क्योंकि जब इसे आप ऑन करते हैं जो लाइट्स जिस तरह से सीक्वेंशली जगमगाती हैं वो बहुत ही कूल लगता है, और उसके बाद आपको याद आता है कि हाँ, आपने अगर 1.5 करोड़ रुपए दिए हैं जो कि एक शोरूम प्राइस है, वो अगर दिए किसी कार के लिए, तो फिर एक और फीचर है जिसके बारे में आप अपने दोस्तों के साथ पार्टी में डिस्कस कर सकते हैं। एक और कूल फीचर जो बाहर से ही आपको देखने को मिलेगा, और वो आपको शायद याद होगा जब हमने जो AMG की थी, EQS का AMG वर्जन, उसमें भी था और वो भी काफी कूल लगा था। इसमें भी आपको वो कूल लगेगा। बस उंगलियां स्लाइड कीजिए यहाँ पर, जैसे कि हम सभी को आदत है, अपने अपने स्मार्टफोन के ऊपर हम स्लाइड करते रहते हैं, और ये कार जो है वो खुल जाती है। आप इसे इस दरवाजे को खोलिए और फिर इसे आप टच कीजिए और ये बंद भी हो जाती है। थैंकफुली अभी चाबी मैंने अपने पॉकेट में रखी हुई है, क्योंकि टेक्नोलॉजी ऐसी है जिसने पहली बार मुझे थोड़ा सा नर्वस किया था कि ये खोलूं तो खोलूं कैसे। मैं दबा रहा था बार बार और दब नहीं रही थी, और इसे जब स्लाइड किया तब ये कार खुली। तो ये एक बहुत ही कूल फीचर मुझे नजर आया। जब बाहरी हैं तो एक और फीचर के बारे में आपको बताता हूं, और वो है इस लग्जरी कार में, लग्जरी इलेक्ट्रिक कार में ढेर सारा जो लग स्पेस है। लुक एट दिस। यहाँ पर इस तरह के रिव्यूज में आमतौर पर हम कहते हैं आपकी सारी गोल्फ किट इसमें अट सकती है, और यहाँ पे मैं देख के सबसे पहले वही कह सकता हूँ, क्योंकि लगेज के लिए तो जगह काफी है ही। अगर आप गोल्फ के भी शौकीन हैं, वहां पे भी 2-3 लोगों की गोल्फ किट तो यहाँ पर आ सकते हैं। वैसे इस पिलो को देखकर ये मत समझिए कि यहाँ पर सोने की जगह मिलेगी, नहीं। दिस इज लाइक आई डोंट नो व्हाट, सेमी नॉच बैक काइंड ऑफ बैग या फास्ट बैक काइंड ऑफ बैग, और इसे एक बटन से ही आप बंद कर सकते हैं। गाइस, कूलनेस केवल इतनी ही नहीं है, इस लोगों को जरा सा आप अंदर दबाइए और ये जो हैच है इसका वो खुल जाता है। इंटरेस्टिंग ना? तो गाइस, जिस तरह से हम स्मार्टफोन
On the show tonight, viewers.
BJP holds Parliamentary Party meeting in Delhi. PM Narendra Modi lays emphasis on celebration of International Millet Year 2023 during the meet. Lunch at the Parliament included meals made of millet. The Kerala High Court pulls up the state government for delay in recovering damages caused during the statewide bandh called by the Popular Front of India on September 23rd. Google and Alphabet CEO Sundar Pichai meets EAM Dr. S. Jaishankar in Delhi. They discuss India's digital transformation.
आज हम यहाँ पे लेके आए हैं एक बहुत ही अनोखा डिवाइस, द न्यू ओप्पो रेनो 8 प्रो हाउस ऑफ द ड्रैगन्स एडिशन। एंड चलिए इसे अनबॉक्स करते हैं। डब्बा तो काफी बड़ा दिया है इन्होंने। आपको गाइस दिख रहा होगा, ये है आपका ड्रैगन के स्केल्स जैसा पैटर्न दिया हुआ है यहाँ पे। मैंने इसके आधे पैकेजिंग फाड़ दी ऑलरेडी। ये रहा आपका रेनो 8 प्रो हाउस ऑफ द ड्रैगन्स एडिशन। चलिए तो इसे अनबॉक्स करते हैं। बॉक्स का जैसा आप देख सकते हैं यहाँ पे हाउस ऑफ ड्रैगन्स का इंसिग्निया दिया हुआ है। यहाँ पे हाउस ऑफ द ड्रैगन्स ओप्पो लिखा हुआ है एंड पीछे HBO का लोगो, ऑफिशियल मर्चेंडाइज। ये 12256 वेरिएंट है। सो चलिए इसे ओपन करते हैं। ओके, सो ये ओपन होता है एक स्क्रोल के साथ। ये रहा आपका स्क्रोल। हाँ, तो इसमें आपका पूरा लिखा हुआ है, गॉड्स किंग्स फायर एंड ब्लड, ड्रीम्स डिडंट मेक अस किंग्स, ड्रैगन्स डिड। सो ये है आपका स्क्रोल। अच्छा, तो इसमें एक नीचे ये दिया हो गया है। सो अब निकलेगा मेन। सो इसमें स्टार्टिंग ऑफ, अच्छा ये है आपका एक सिम इजेक्टेड टूल ड्रैगन के शेप में। ये आपका एक कीचेन है। सो बेसिकली इस लिमिटेड एडिशन को आपको इंडिया में अभी लॉन्च हुआ है। सो ये है आपका एक कीचेन ड्रैगन के इंसिग्निया के साथ, हाउस ऑफ ड्रैगन्स। ये है आपका एक फोन कवर के लिए। बिल्ड क्वालिटी काफी अच्छा है। ये मेटल का है और यहाँ पे जैसे देख सकते हैं टेप लगा है। सो काफी अच्छी बिल्ड क्वालिटी है इस चीज का। ऑफ कोर्स इट्स लिमिटेड एडिशन, व्हाट डू यू एक्सपेक्ट। एंड ये है सबसे मेन। सो ये रहा आपका ड्रैगन एग। अब जाते हैं मेन फोन पे। सब कुछ आ गया।
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The political discourse today is all about name calling for the opposition, mainly the Congress party. It seems that it is on a spree to select and fire salvos from its hate playbook to target the Prime Minister and the government at the center. And this is not a trend that has gripped the opposition just recently. This culture of resorting to diatribe started right from 2014. But cut to 2022, the atmosphere before and after the Gujarat elections is filled with abuse and invectives. Listen in to this to get an idea of what I'm talking about.
अरे ऐसे बात कह के अगर आप सिंपैथी जमाने की कोशिश करें तो लोग अब होशियार हो गए, उतने बेवकूफ नहीं है। एक बात चलती है, एक बार अगर झूठ बोलेंगे लोग सुन लेंगे, 2 बार भी बोलेंगे तो भी सुन लेंगे। कितने बार झूठ बोलेंगे? झूठ पर झूठ, ये झूठों के सरदार है।
भाई तुम्हारे को तुम्हारी सूरत कितनी बार देखना, कारपोरेशन में भी तुम्हारी सूरत देखना, एमएलए इलेक्शन भी तुम्हारी सूरत देखना, कितने हैं भाई? क्या आपके रावण के जैसा 100 मुख है? क्या है?
सदन में जो बॉर्डर इश्यू है, चाइना आज जो आक्रमण कर रहा है, उसके बारे में हम चर्चा चाहते हैं, दूसरा कुछ नहीं। लेकिन वो चर्चा के लिए तैयार नहीं है। बाहर तो शेर के जैसा बात करते हैं, लेकिन उनका जो चलना है वो सिर्फ आप देखेंगे तो चूहे के जैसा है। राजीव गांधी जी अपने जान दिए इस देश की एकता के लिए। हमारे पार्टी के नेताओं ने जान दिया। तुम क्या किए? आपके घर में कोई देश के लिए कुत्ता तो मरा है?
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, from Jhuto ka Sardar to Ravan to Chuha and the dog analogy, the Congress has left no stone unturned to target the head of this country with vile terms. And he's not just our Prime Minister, he's everybody's Prime Minister in this country. He's not just the BJP's Prime Minister. The attack was made from a platform where Mr. Rahul Gandhi was sitting right next to Mr. Kharge. So much for नफरत के बाजार में मैं प्यार की दुकान खोल रहा हूं, which is the message that was being sent from the Bharat Jodo Yatra, the temple of democracy where issues related to you and me should be discussed, where Chinese aggression must be discussed, has now turned into a war zone. Chaos descended once again in Parliament after Kharge's remark. Battery of ministers demanded an apology from the leader of opposition, Mr. Kharge, and said that the Italian Congress with a rubber stamp president has just lost the plot. Listen in.
I cannot believe that Mallikarjun Kharge, Congress president, can stoop so low and use this kind of very objectionable remarks. It is very distasteful for the political leaders to use such language.
आजादी के बाद गांधी जी ने कहा था कांग्रेस पार्टी को ही वाइंड अप कर देना चाहिए। खड़गे जी उसका जीता जागता प्रतीक है और दिखा रहे हैं देश को शायद गांधी जी ने सत्य कहा था। और ऐसे अध्यक्ष एक पार्टी के जिनको भाषण देना नहीं है, उन्होंने माफी मांगनी चाहिए और वो माफी नहीं मांगे तब तक उनको यहाँ पे रहने का कोई अधिकार।
जो कुछ भाषा मल्लिकार्जुन खड़गे जी ने प्रयोग की है वो घोर निंदनीय है और कहीं न कहीं जिस प्रकार के शब्द का प्रयोग किया है ये उस शब्द के समकक्ष उनकी मानसिकता का प्रतीक है। और ये कहना कि सारी की सारी स्वतंत्रता आंदोलन का श्रेय सिर्फ उन्हीं का है तो ये सभी क्रांतिकारियों का अपमान है और आजाद हिंद फौज के सभी बलिदानी सेनानियों का अपमान है।
नेहरू परिवार की चमचागिरी करने वाले लोग इसी तरह के बयान देंगे। नेहरू परिवार ने शहादत नहीं दी, इस देश का बेड़ा गर्क किया है और इस प्रकार से जिस प्रकार से उन्होंने शहीदों का अपमान किया है, ये इस देश के शहीदों का अपमान है। आप कुत्ता कह रहे हो शहीदों को? मुझे आश्चर्य होता है कि इतना सीनियर लीडर इस तरह की बात कर रहा है।
मैं घोर निंदा करता हूं। आई स्ट्रांगली कंडेम दिस कांग्रेस इज नॉट ए ओरिजिनल कांग्रेस, इट इज ए इटालियन कांग्रेस लेड बाय सम अदर पीपल। तो ये नकली कांग्रेस है, नकली नेता लोग है। देख रबर स्टैंप का अध्यक्ष ऐसे बोलते हैं तो ये हम स्ट्रांगली कंडेम करते हैं।
The Congress on the other side has said that the BJP cannot hold this holier than thou attitude, and so goes on the fight between the two sides. And that brings me to the legitimate question tonight. Who's lowering the political discourse and where are the real issues? That's the question and that's the debate coming up on the other side. Gaali politics over Tawang. That's the hashtag and the debate coming up.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
And joining me on the debate tonight, Mr. GVL Narasimha Rao, Member of Parliament and National Spokesperson of the BJP, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, author, Ravi Srivastava, political analyst, supports the Aam Aadmi Party, Vivek Srivastava, political analyst. But my first question goes to Mr. Lokesh Jindal, leader of the Congress Party. And Mr. Lokesh Jindal, I want to ask you, एक तरफ आप कह रहे हैं हमारे सिपाही पिट गए, हमारे जवान पिट गए, और दूसरी तरफ आप अपने आप को देशभक्त कह रहे हैं, that you stand with the army, you stand in national security issues with the armed forces. How hypocritical is this stand of the Congress party, apart of course from the abuses that you make towards the Prime Minister? It seems that you are more upset with the Prime Minister and he's your real enemy rather than China.
The Prime Minister, he had the Chinese counterpart invited in Ahmedabad in 2014, following which he visited Xi'an in 2015. And this Prime Minister is the only Prime Minister who has made 9 visits to the China. And with the Chinese counterpart, he had 9 meetings. And now after this, there are the most number of incursions happening during this particular Prime Minister's period. We had the Doklam, then we had the Ladakh issue, and now we are seeing what is happening in Tawang. The point is, despite all this, we are having the largest trade relation with China. उनके हाथ में बंदूक है, हमारे पास संदूक. We are providing them trade and commerce, and they are aggressing, they are threatening us. What form of policy is this? I mean, the government is caught off guard without any form of a policy initiative. Now, this particular Prime Minister who used to thump himself, claiming that he's going to get back Pakistan occupied Kashmir, but when it comes to China, he has no policy. He's even scared of taking the name of China. Now, we are not questioning him. What we are saying is, let there be a discussion. Let the nation know what exactly is the situation happening in Arunachal Pradesh. Let the government not act like a child who's scared from telling everything to his mother.
Fair point. Fair point, Lokesh Jindal. You are asking for a discussion, but do you think a discussion will happen when you're calling names like Kutta, Billi, Chua, Hamare Jawan pit rahe hain? You think that is the atmosphere you're creating for a discussion and for questions being raised? I'm asking you. And if you're talking about the Prime Minister inviting Xi Jinping and being in Ahmedabad in 2014, then questions can be raised about Mao Zedong and Jawaharlal Nehru, before the 1962 war, when Nehru Sahab said Hindi Chini bhai bhai. So GVL Narasimha Rao, while the Congress party is actually crossing the line in its language used for the Prime Minister, do you think calling the Congress party the Italian Congress will actually bring down tempers and bring back some amount of civility in the discourse? I'm asking you this question because somewhere or the other, if there are questions that the opposition is raising, and they have the right to do so, should the government be cooling down tempers, taking them into confidence, holding an all-party meeting? Or should you be responding by calling them the Italian Congress?
Good evening to you and all the panelists and the viewers, Navika. Let's see who is really lowering the discourse. Look at the manner in which Rahul Gandhi is insulting the armed forces. How we have seen on videos how Indian forces, how the Indian army, their jawans, how they are actually literally pushing PLA back into their territory, how they are being beaten for their transgression into Indian territory. Such is the valor which is on display. But Rahul Gandhi and Congress party wants to create a fake narrative to suit their political agenda. And I'm not even sure if this is only political agenda and is there more to it, because the Congress party has never been transparent about its relations with or its discussions with China. What was Rahul Gandhi doing with Chinese ambassador? There are no answers forthcoming from the Congress party. What was this? Why did they have to sign an MOU in 2008 when they were in power in Delhi? Why did they have to take money from Chinese embassy? Why aren't they giving any convincing answers? What was Rahul Gandhi doing at Doklam controversy, meeting Chinese ambassador secretly and lying to the country that they have not met? Same is the story when he went to Kailash Mansarovar in 2018. What discussions did he have?
So are you saying, Mr. GVL Narasimha Rao, that you do not trust the Congress party and therefore you do not want to discuss at least the issue of China with them? Do you expect them to leak information? Is that the fear that the government has?
No, honestly, it's no longer a fear, Navika. People of this country have no trust and confidence in the Congress party for the manner in which they question our forces at every point of time. They call the army chief a street thug. They question surgical strikes. They ask for proof, video proof. Even when they got proof, they did not apologize to the forces or to the country. They questioned airstrike in Balakot at every time.
Fair point. Look at your track record, Lokesh Jindal-ji. Look at your track record, Lokesh Jindal-ji. Doklam, Rahul Gandhi's secret meeting with the ambassador, completely denied by Mr. Randeep Surjewala at that point in time. Later, a picture comes out. Lokesh Jindal, you do not inspire any confidence, plain and simple fact by the BJP.
No, Navika, it's a very serious accusation right now. The BJP has the government with itself, the investigation agencies with itself. You please undertake an investigation. You are actually accusing us of sedition, of anti-national activities. Now, this is a very serious charge. We will not accept this. I mean, on a national television, how can you make such a loose comment? I mean, your party should take action against this. If you are making such a loose accusation, you please have the entire investigation agency with yourself. You have the enforcement agency with yourself. Please take the action. Why this dereliction of duty? When you are making such accusation, you are acting like you are in the opposition right now.
But Lokesh Jindal-ji, the Congress party has not given any details of these meetings, and that is something that we've been waiting for a long time. But let me get in Mr. Ravi Srivastav as well. Mr. Ravi Srivastav, let me tell you that a French publication, Asialist and researcher Oliver Gillard says, and this is a piece that appeared on 17 December, and he says, from the Himalayas right up to Taiwan, China is trying to create border controversies with, many states, many countries. That's only to distract attention away from the internal mess within China, especially with the rising cases of COVID and, the public outcry against Xi Jinping there. Not just that, China's paper, Hong Kong's paper, South China Morning Post says that in the line of actual control with India, the soldiers posted there are suffering from fear and anxiety. So you won't believe what the army has said. You won't believe what the Chinese newspapers are saying. You will not even believe what the French publications are saying. You will not believe the Prime Minister. So why do you want a discussion? Why do you want a debate in Parliament? There is no trust between the two sides.
Navika, China has got a border with 14 countries, out of which with 12 they have got an agreement for the line of control. Only 2 countries do not have that agreement. That is, one is India, the other is Bhutan. Now my question is whether they are suffering from COVID, whether their GDP is going down to 2.7, whether the hospitals are full, whether the people are losing their life, that does not matter to us at this stage. My question here is, why Prime Minister is submitting so weakly before China? The whole BJP keeps shouting against Pakistan to the top of their voice. They keep on agitating on roads everywhere, but they never utter a word against China. Why? They have got a $7 billion trade deficit with China. They will never say, no, we keep on importing from them the chappal, the chashma, the clothes, all kind of sundry things. I will pay double price if it is made in India available. Why should I not? Why there should not be a boycott of the China altogether for the trade? Yes. Why the shipping, after Galwan, Mr. Modi has met him thrice, how many times? Thrice, 4 times, 5 times, whatever it is. How many times did we discuss with him, Galwan? Where our 20 soldiers lost their precious life. Everybody respects the bravery of the valor of our army men, but BJP should not hide behind that. They should come out with the fact. 9th, the skirmishes happened in Tawang, and 13th, the Raksha Mantri is giving a statement. These are 4 days for the holiday in between. There is no holiday for the nation's security. He has to come out instantly. The whole world is watching. The whole India is watching what is happening to our soldiers. And as the BJP MP says that our 20 soldiers suffered serious injuries, out of 6 were admitted in the Guwahati hospital. Why the government is not telling the truth that we have lost? Every time they say 1 inch land has not been given to China. Alright, go there, snatch their 1 foot land. We have lost thousands of kilometers of land to China already. Go there, say it. Our people, our army generals have said, let the politicians order it, we'll go and capture the POK.
But
why can't you
tonight, Ravi Srivastava ji, you are very, very angry. But when details were given about the surgical strikes, किसने कहा था? Proof किसने मांगा था? आज आपको बड़ा गुस्सा आ रहा है. आज आनंद रंगनाथन आप हंस रहे हैं. इतने सीरियस मुद्दे पे आप हंस रहे हैं क्योंकि ये आज जो इतने आग बबूले हो रहे हैं, ये तो आर्मी की बात मानते ही नहीं है. इन्हें डिस्कशन क्यों चाहिए?
इनके लिए नेशनल सिक्योरिटी हंसने का विषय है. हंसने दीजिए इनको.
Ravi Srivastava ji, Anand Ranganathan, your turn.
No, and Navika, I was sniggering, not quite laughing, sniggering at you exposing the rampant hypocrisy of Ravi ji. So I'm absolutely not laughing on a very serious matter. But before I, have the chance of saying a couple of points that I would like to contribute to this, may I please request, because the moment history is tantamount to this, that the moment I start talking about Chinese dragon, there is a Chipkali on your panel who starts interrupting me immediately. So the moment the Chipkali starts interrupting me, please.
I'm sorry, आप चूहे बिल्ली कुत्ते तक ही रहने दे. आप छिपकलियां बीच में मत लाएं. आप किसको कह रहे हैं मुझे पता नहीं. I don't know, and I will not. This is not a platform. Maybe this language is used by senior political leaders, but I don't quite support this language. So I'm lowering all faders. Anand Ranganathan, make your point.
Thank you. And in fact, Navika, I also never support such language, and I am absolutely appalled by Mr. Kharge's language of chuha and sher. And by the way, just who is a lion and who a mouse became clear when after Pulwama, Modi attacked terror camps deep in Pakistan, and Manmohan Singh, in the wake of 26/11, refused to listen to his own air chief to strike Pakistan and his terror camps there. So who knows? And Mr. Rao was talking of MOU. Who knows? Perhaps calling for the breakup of Ladakh was an obligation on part of the Congress in that MOU that it signed with the Communist Party of China back in 2008. And only Mr. Lokesh Jindal knows the secrets of those MOU, and he is refusing to disclose it to the common public. It's been 14 years. No one knows except Mr. Lokesh Jindal what was in that MOU. So, Navika, let us be very serious about this. If we want an informed discussion, because the fact of the matter is, right from the time when Dr. Ambedkar resigned from the Congress in 1951, warning that under Jawaharlal Nehru, India was being made to fight China's battle, was championing China's cause, and that its quixotic and suicidal foreign policy would lead to the, quote, ruination of India, unquote. To the Congress presiding over the loss of Aksai Chin but being nonchalant about it, saying, even sniggering, not a blade of grass grows there. To it maintaining silence to this day on China occupying 640 square kilometers of eastern Ladakh during the UPA, as disclosed by UPA's own Foreign Secretary Shyam Saran. To zipping its lips when between 2009 and 2013, China made nearly 600 incursions into the Indian side, including on June 17, 2013, when the Chinese transgressed deep into Chumar, an incursion the UPA, believe it or not, did not disclose for 3 weeks for fear of public anger, forcing cancellation of the defense minister visit to China. To remaining silent even as our trade deficit with China, that was $1.5 billion in 2004, climbed to $37 billion by 2014. So, Navika, I am not surprised. And I am also not surprised by the fact that its minions, some of them are here in the panel, the chamchas and the gamchas, were totally silent about the non-existent infrastructure in the Indo-China border, despite recurring threats and reality of incursions as disclosed by none other than the UPA Defense Minister Antony. And also not surprised that the same journalists currently raising hell over alleged large-scale incursions were, back in the UPA days, you remember, Navika, waxing eloquent and giving gyan over the fact that India-China border is not yet defined. And so when the Chinese make incursions, it only means they haven't entered our territory. End quote. You see, just 30 seconds, Navika. Before 2014, India and China were one nation. It is only when Modi took over the reins, he began to draw the border and shoring up the infrastructure, building roads and bridges. Horrible thing to do. Why should there be a border between India and China when we have a memorandum of understanding with the Chinese that India should break up into 1,000 pieces? The Modi must resign.
Absolutely. And Vivek Srivastav, opposition has the right to ask questions. But the opposition cannot stoop to a low where it starts abusing our jawans, our soldiers. Those soldiers who are standing at the border to protect you and me.
Exactly.
Those soldiers who are standing there prepared to take a bullet on their chest so that you and I can live in peace. And when the leader of the largest political party in the opposition begins to use words like "Arey wo to pite hain," what does it show? Does it show seriousness of asking questions, or does it show a peeved political leader who just cannot digest the fact that there is somebody else in the seat of power? That's question number one. And question number two, the question is very simple. There are facts of history, there are incursions, and there is an LAC where Indian soldiers have pushed the Chinese back. Exactly how it happened in Galwan as well. Why are we questioning the valor of our soldiers? I mean, you can question the valor or the efficacy of the government, but why target the soldiers?
Navika, 5 seconds. Question number 3. Add kar do main ek. Vivek ji, please, with your permission.
See,
only with your
Navika,
permission.
firstly, in this country, नहीं सर,
दो क्वेश्चन से ज्यादा नहीं, तीसरा क्वेश्चन आप जिंदल साहब से पूछिएगा.
I mean, your Nehru bashing.
नहीं, मुझे अपने कॉमरेड से पूछना है.
नहीं, आप नहीं पूछ सकते हैं मुझसे, लेकिन I mean, apart from Nehru bashing, नहीं सर सुनिए.
Okay, 5 seconds. Question तो सुन लीजिए on popular demand. Yes, question आनंद रंगनाथन.
Yes, विवेक जी, thank you very much. मैं आपकी बहुत इज्जत करता हूँ और कम्युनिस्ट की भी बहुत इज्जत करता हूँ. सवाल एकदम सिंपल है. Is it not a fact that your own comrade and ex-chief minister of Kerala, Mr. Ajutanandan, said on record that when he defied the communists who had declared that we will not set up blood donation camps in the wake of 1962 war, Ajutanandan was demoted.
नहीं कुछ बड़ा पुराना है आपका
during the 1962 war with China.
Now let me answer.
Okay, all right.
Now see, Dr. Anand Ranganathan.
Answer the question.
With due respect, now let me speak. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, आप जैसे इंटेलेक्चुअल आदमी से, अरे सर सुनिए तो पहले. I am answering it, sir. I am answering all your questions. First of all, even a common man like me has more expectations in IQ and questions from you. A debate after debate, you do not grow over Accusations and over 1962 blood donation camp.
Navika.
Today the topic of debate was something very different. Okay, but you started with Nehru bashing. You were accusing the founding father of this nation, Jawaharlal Nehru.
No, I'm sorry, Vivek Srivastav ji, allow me to come in. Today's topic of debate started with the statement of Mallikarjun Kharge ji, and he said, आप कांग्रेस से कंपेयर कर रहे हैं, कांग्रेस ने तो फ्रीडम स्ट्रगल तो 1947 है, तो it predates 1962 question that Anand Ranganathan raised, number 1, and he says आपके यहाँ तो कुत्ता भी नहीं बना. मैं पूछना चाहती हूँ भगत सिंह के लिए आप ये भाषा इस्तेमाल करेंगे?
नहीं, आप सुनिए जी नहीं, बिल्कुल नहीं करेंगे. तो भगत सिंह was a comrade. Bhagat Singh was a socialist. HSRA's association was a communist organization. The last book he was reading before he was hanged was Lenin. So I mean, I don't want to go into that debate. Let us talk of Kharge today. Kharge Sahab, what he has said is that in the freedom struggle of this nation, the Congress contributed. He talked of Congress. I will talk of the comrades also. I'll talk of the Krantikari's also. But the RSS and Govalkar ji and the entire Hinduvadi brigade said that the real enemy of the nation is not the British but the Muslims. That is the traitors. This is the gang of traitors. Today they may be in power. Today maybe the Prime Minister belongs to the same organization, the RSS, but there was not a drop of blood was not shed by these people. And if Kharge ji is trying to point it out, If Khadge ji is trying to point it out, why?
Your statement is being contested. Your statement is being contested by Anand Ranganathan responding to you. Anand.
Yes, Navika, I cannot allow him to speak lies on television. I will disclose about how communists collaborated with the British to leak information about INN Subhash Bose, but that is for later. Let me first demolish his propaganda that RSS
Give me the name of one freedom fighter from RSS.
Vivek Srivastav,
now will you
allow him to complete his point. You can rebut him after that. You can rebut him after that. Anand, complete your point.
Okay.
Yes, दूध मांगोगे, खीर देंगे, कश्मीर मांगोगे, चीर देंगे. मैं एक नहीं 4 नाम देता हूं. दादा नायक चिमुर, रामदास रामपुरे, संत तुकोजी महाराज, हेमू कलानी. Now apologize.
Please.
Apologize now.
ये ऐसे नहीं है, ये कोई नाम, ये दो stop your फर्जीवाड़ा here. Okay, as a policy, the RSS said we need a cultural revolution, and the British are not a challenge to the country's cultural revolution. It is the Muslims who are the challenge, and the real enemy of the nation is the Muslims. These are the
Well, 1 minute, Mr. Vivek Srivastav. 1 minute, Mr. Vivek Srivastav. Let's not create another partition in this country. We've had one too many. We've had one too many, and at that time passions were running high. After all, it was on religious identity that the country was divided. What was said then cannot be repeated today. So let's just leave that conversation out of the debate tonight.
He should apologize first.
Agreed.
He asked for 1 name, I gave him 4.
Well,
apologize.
Vivek Srivastav is not going to apologize. They've not apologized for 1962 and their role in that. They've not apologized for anything. So let's forget apologies. My question tonight is just this. And Lokesh Jindal, please answer this. The question tonight is, I'm coming to you, GBL Narasimha Rao, because Lokesh Jindal's response will definitely have your hackles rising, so you will respond to them. Lokesh Jindal, आपकी दुश्मनी है किससे? जवानों से, मोदी जी से, या चाइना से?
Navika, in 2022, the army, it presented a demand of around 2 lakh crores of requirement, but the government only sanctioned 1,50,000 crores. Despite the army facing hostility across the borders, why was capital expenditure demand reduced by 63,000 crores? Secondly,
says the spokesperson of the party, says the leader of the party, which bought no weapons, nothing, because there was a policy paralysis and decision paralysis. GBL Narasimha Rao, ये क्या कह रहे हैं लोकेश जिंदल जी? इनकी सरकार में तो कोई डिसीजन ही नहीं हुआ था.
The entire infrastructure, whether it is defense, whether it is on all fronts, was made by us. Tell me one thing that was built by you.
The Congress spokespersons and those who come to defend Congress are so ashamed of Rahul Gandhi. I find him ashamed of Rahul Gandhi. Otherwise, why is he not supporting Rahul Gandhi's statement? Our forces are being beaten.
Rahul Gandhi ji stated that the policy has not beaten.
No, at the Tawang border.
हम पिट गए border पर.
2014 में आपने अहमदाबाद में बुलाया, 2015 में
मैं आपको बता देती हूँ. I am stopping you right here, Lokesh Jindal. Nobody can get away with lies on this channel. I am quoting verbatim Mr. Rahul Gandhi, and he said, quote unquote, हिंदुस्तान की सरकार सोई हुई है और चीन युद्ध की तैयारी कर रहा है. चीन ने हमारे 2000 किलोमीटर स्क्वायर को कब्जा कर लिया है और हमारे जवानों को पीट रहे हैं. लोकेश जिंदल, लेट देयर बी नो एम्बिग्विटी. जवानों को पीट रहे हैं, कोई पॉलिसी को नहीं पीटा. जवानों को पीट रहे हैं चीन वाले, जबकि जवानों ने अपने शौर्य से सारे चाइनीज सोल्जर्स को खदेड़ दिया. दिस इज व्हाट राहुल गांधी हैज टू से. Lokesh Jindal, should Mr. Rahul Gandhi apologize for his statement? Should he or should he not?
No. Navika, this is not fair. I mean, if you read the entire context within which he stated,
there is no context. I want to. What is the context? हमारे जवानों को पीट रहे हैं. What is the context? रवि श्रीवास्तव जी, कोई ambiguity है इसमें? हमारे जवानों को पीट रहे हैं. इसका what is the meaning of this line? हमारे जवानों को पीट रहे हैं क्योंकि लोकेश जिंदल cannot understand this. Please tell him what does it mean.
I don't know. This is not a. You cannot translate it literally like that. What he says is that they are attacking our soldiers. They are attacking our soldiers, and what they have done, they have already martyred 20 soldiers in 2026 in June. जब हमारे प्रधानमंत्री बोले ना कोई घुसा है ना कोई घुस आया है और हम फिंगर 8 तक पेट्रोलिंग करते थे, आज हम फिंगर 3 के आगे नहीं जाते.
हिंदी ट्रांसलेटेड टू इंग्लिश पीट रहे हैं का मतलब होता ही नहीं है कि पीट रहे हैं. दैट इज द हिंदी ट्रांसलेशन टू इंग्लिश. आनंद रंगनाथन, ऑल अदर फेडर्स डाउन.
थैंक यू. नाविका, आप जानती है मैं तमिलियन हूं, लेकिन फिर भी मेरी हिंदी इतनी तो कम से कम स्ट्रांग है कि मैं ये समझ जाऊं कि राहुल गांधी जब कह रहे हैं पिटाई, इट हैज टू बी कंडेम्ड बाय एवरीवन, एंड आई एम सो हैप्पी. I was at least 2 days ago when Tehseen unequivocally condemned his remark. I wonder why Lokesh isn't. Does Lokesh want something that Tehseen has? I mean, this is unacceptable. Even Ravi ji has said that what Rahul Gandhi said is condemnable. If I heard him right, there is a difference between saying pit rahe hain and injured. Because in an equal fight, when our soldiers are giving as good as they are getting, they can be injured, sure. But to say कि उनकी पिटाई हुई है is humiliating ourselves, is embarrassing.
Lokesh Jindal, from the Prime Minister being called all sorts of names, and it's not like Mr. Kharge has a problem with the Hindi language. है अगर problem तो भाई दूसरी language बोल लो, कोई problem नहीं है. Don't get into the muhavras if you do not know the language. But to use this language to talk about Ravan, to talk about औकात दिखा देंगे, to talk about Hatya, it is a serial attack on the Prime Minister Lokesh Jindal, and nobody has a word to say in the leadership of the Congress party because the leadership itself uses such language.
Look, Navika, the government is theirs. They are free to take action. In fact, I was the one who appealed that the leader who stated Hatya kar denge, he should be taken, arrest must be taken.
So what action against Rahul Gandhi and what action against Mr. Kharge? What action against Mr. Gandhi and Mr. Kharge?
India beats Pakistan and it is translated into Bharat ne Pakistan ko peeta. तो इसका मतलब क्या है? You want to infer that?
Oh, come on, Lokesh Jindal. Either you think people on this panel have an IQ of 0 or negative, or you don't have a defense. GVL Narasimha Rao.
विवेक भी हंस रहा है.
No, Navika, either let him say that he is so embarrassed about statement of Rahul Gandhi, or let Jindal also defend his statement. Why is he fighting shy of commenting on this? I think Rahul Gandhi is not only the verbatim translation of what he said. Even if you have heard him speak on this, his indignation for the Indian Armed Forces is evident.
No, sir.
His statement itself showed the utter lack of respect and sensitivity for the armed forces, only for the sake of his tukde politics.
So
I think there is always politics to do, but why blame the armed forces?
That is the question. And on national security, as Anand Ranganathan pointed out, we know what happened after 26/11. तो कौन चूहा है, कौन शेर? I think this country definitely knows. But the question is that those who are demanding a debate in Parliament, do they not have the responsibility of creating an atmosphere for it? And not just that, where is the trust between the two sides? Where is the opposition even believing Chinese newspapers who put out information? Have they even given any iota of credence to the statement made by the army? Had they given any credence to the statement made by the defense minister? If they are not going to listen to any of this or believe any of this, then why do they want a debate? Just because they can pull the government down and create an atmosphere where in the psychological warfare, and that's the area where warfares are happening these days on social media, on words that are put out in debates, etc., etc. We all know it, where the battle really happens. Do we want to give our enemy countries an edge? That too from a responsible opposition within, responsible in inverted commas, within the country? It's a question that people of this country are asking tonight. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me on debate number 1. On the other side, the big Aam Aadmi Party and LG of Delhi's controversy. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an all-out war between the Delhi LG and the Aam Aadmi Party government. In the latest face-off, LG has ordered the Chief Secretary to recover not 1 or 2 but rupees 97 crore from the Aam Aadmi Party for allegedly publishing political ads under the garb of government advertisements, non-conforming to the policies laid down. The LG has accused the Aam Aadmi Party of gross misappropriation of public funds. That means taxpayers' money, money belonging to you and me, and said that the party used the state exchequer to pay for ads in violation of the Supreme Court order. The Aam Aadmi Party has been asked to return this amount of 97 crores to the state exchequer. The BJP has upped the ante against the Aam Aadmi Party and called it Kattar Bhrasht Party once again. Listen in.
एलजी साहब ने आके खुद कुछ नहीं किया, वही रिपोर्ट जो है जो अभी तक पेंडिंग चलती आ रही थी उस रिपोर्ट के ऊपर काम किया है। और मैं मानता हूं ये 97 करोड़ रुपया तो पुरानी रिपोर्ट का है। अगर आप 2022 तक का इनका वाइट पेपर इशू करने को कहेंगे तो मेरा मानना है कि कम से कम 1000 करोड़ रुपए से ज्यादा ऐसा पैसा है जो आम आदमी पार्टी से वसूलना बनेगा, जो उन्होंने सरकार का पैसा, खजाने का पैसा अपनी पार्टी के लिए और अपने प्रचार के लिए खर्च किया है।
तो एलजी साहब ने जो भी किया है वो कानून का पालन करते हुए, क्योंकि वो दिल्ली हमारी यूनियन टेरिटरी है और वो दिल्ली के उपराज्यपाल हैं, तो वो संविधान की रक्षा करने का उनको कर्तव्य है। तो वो संविधान की रक्षा करने के लिए उन्होंने 97 करोड़ रुपीस, ये अरविंद केजरीवाल जी आज तो बहुत अमीर हो गए हैं, 97 करोड़ रुपया उनको देने में कोई दिक्कत नहीं आनी चाहिए। और ये दिल्ली के हमारी जनता के लिए, उनके स्कूल के लिए, उनके कॉलेज के लिए, उनके स्टेडियम के लिए ऐसे पैसा लगना चाहिए, ना कि आपके पार्टी के विज्ञापन।
The Aam Aadmi Party on its own has now said that the LG has no such powers to pass such orders and is merely dancing to the tunes of the BJP. Listen in.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने अपने एलजी को कहा कि ये कई साल पुराना मामला, विज्ञापनों का मामला जो कई साल पहले ठंडे बस्ते में डाला गया, उसको दोबारा निकाला गया। और पहली बात तो ये कि एलजी साहब के पास कोई ऐसी पावर ही नहीं है कि वो इस तरीके के आदेश पारित करे। दिल्ली के पिछले सिर्फ 1 महीने के अखबार मैंने ढूंढवाए, सिर्फ 1 महीने के, और कोई ऐसा भारतीय जनता पार्टी का राज्य नहीं है जिसका विज्ञापन दिल्ली के अखबारों में ना छपे। योगी आदित्यनाथ, प्रिसीजन कमर्शियल प्लॉट्स विद मार्वलस ग्रोथ इन बिजनेस।
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 2 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
Ravi Srivastava ji, the question to you straight, 97 crores is the demand from the LG and he's put forth the report which has found this money to be due to the government. And the Congress is calling it, a smaller amount. They say actually it should be 635 crores. Do you think political ads were put out and therefore violation of rules took place as per the report?
let everybody draw his own conclusion and keep on demanding his own share of money. Fact is that LG, the powers are clearly defined: the land, law and order, and police. Only three things are not with the Delhi government, and the LG has got no authority on this score to demand anything from Aam Aadmi Party. That is one. The second thing is, no government is behind, no state government is back. We read in Bangalore the ads for Delhi. We read in the ads in the Kerala for Bihar. We read the Chhattisgarh ads in Tamil Nadu. 22,000 crores are being spent by the state government in putting up the newspaper ads every week. And what is their result is, as you saw, Adityanath, 160 crore he spent in 1 year on the TV ads, and only 4% he spent on the COVID ads. Here we have got an honorable Prime Minister who puts up his photo on the every vaccination certificate, although it was cleared by the UP. But the fact is, he is also so publicity conscious that he will put up his picture on every state's ad also.
My friend,
Any BJP rules
Mr. Ravi Srivastava, I asked a very simple question. That the report says, the vigilance report says 97 crores need to be paid. I'm only asking you, will the Aam Aadmi Party or should the Aam Aadmi Party pay that money or not? Ab you can't start saying usne bhi to kisi ka murder kiya tha, usne kiya tha. Bhai, that's not the question. The question is, was there violation, and 97 crores, will it be repaid? Because this is public money.
No need for any payment from Aam Aadmi Party. There are all kind of legal recourses are available. The LG has got no authority to demand this money.
Okay, Anand Ranganathan, matter headed to the courts. Paise to nahi aa rahe wapas.
Navika, three things. Number one, it is a tragedy that the AAP has spent so much money on ads. With that much money, it could have opened a top-notch massage parlor in Tihar jail. तो अपने ही मिनिस्टर का नुकसान करवा रहे हैं. बट दूसरी बात, सबसे
सर कोई और वीडियो नहीं मिला आपको? वीडियो नहीं आया कोई बात में? वो इलेक्शन के पहले ही आते थे, बाद में बंद हो गए वीडियो आने. क्या सीसीटीवी खराब हो गया तिहाड़ जेल का? क्या हुआ? वो इलेक्शन के पहले ही आते थे वीडियो. क्या आप उन पर बड़े कमेंट करते थे? आप नहीं करते. जब से मनीष का नाम निकला एक्साइज
रवि श्रीवास्तव जी अलाउड, अभी वीडियो नहीं आया, रिपोर्ट आई है. वीडियो नहीं आया, रिपोर्ट आई है. आप रिपोर्ट पर जवाब दीजिए. आनंद रघुनाथन, व्हाट्स द पॉइंट?
Navika, now I need to confess something here. I need to confess something here because रवि जी चाहे जितनी भी मेरी खिल्ली उड़ा दें, मैं आज दुनिया को बता दूं कि 2010-11 में जब भी इंडिया अगेंस्ट करप्शन को मैंने सपोर्ट किया था, one of the reasons was actually रवि जी. और आप किसी भी डिबेट में देख लीजिए, I have always been respected because he was a shining beacon for India's fight against corruption. He single-handedly brought down and exposed king. तो आज मुझे इतना दुख होता है, दिल पे चोट लगती है रवि जी, दिल पे, जब आप उस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, उस पार्टी का सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं जो आप 10 साल पहले कहते थे कि एक भी एडवर्टाइजिंग नहीं करनी चाहिए, ये पब्लिक का पैसा है, ये पब्लिक को वापस जाना चाहिए. और नाविका, मैं आपको बताऊं दिल पे और दुख क्यों होता है. ये नहीं कि अरविंद केजरीवाल करप्ट है, उसको तो होने दो, कि उसने रवि जी जैसे लोगों को फुसला के करप्ट कर दिया. In the last 10 years, AAP has the increase in advertising spent by AAP is 4,200%. 4,200%. In the last 1 year, AAP has spent 488 crores in ads. इतना पैसा अगर ये स्कीम्स पे लगा के, रवि जी दिल पे चोट लगी है. दिल पे चोट लगी है आज. Surplus
budget doesn't mean that you can keep. No. Surplus budget does not mean that you can splurge on anything. You have to splurge on welfare schemes, Ravi Srivastava ji, and Anand Ranganathan. Flattery will get you everywhere. But GVL Narasimha Rao, on a very serious note, the question is, after the elections, once again you are trying to target the Aam Aadmi Party. That is the political point of what Ravi Srivastava is saying. How do you respond to that?
No, there is a question of targeting. Why are they finding it difficult to defend their own actions? Here, this is a 2016 report which said 97 crores was spent on political advertising. You have squandered, you have looted enough money, you could have spent it from your party account. And now, is there anything more dishonest than using public money for your political promotion in states like Gujarat, Punjab, where you are fighting elections? You are doing promotional campaigns using money from the Delhi's public exchequer. This is completely not done. I think this is nothing but a degeneration of a political party which claimed to cleanse politics. It's actually muddying entire political scene. And now, as Anandji mentions, they have one of the highest advertising budgets. It's a small city state. It's not even a state. It's a municipality. For Delhi, they spend more money than what most state governments in this country do. Look at the budget of even the union government. I think Delhi government spends almost as much as union government. And what are they using this money for? Entire political promotion. They want to see their leaders' face on every national television channel. All that you have is only, all that you have to talk about is only your local municipal government.
You are rattled completely after the NCD defeat. Because
what rattled? I know you won Gujarat, you won Himachal. That's the reason why we are rattled, right?
You are ruling it.
We are rattled by your performance.
रवि श्रीवास्तव जी, आपके जमानत जब्त है यूपी में, जमानत जब्त है उत्तराखंड में, हिमाचल में और कई सीटों पे गुजरात में. आप रैटल की तो बात छोड़ दिए, मुद्दा उसूल का है. मुद्दा उसूल का है. Were rules violated? Yes or no? And the debate is about whether the rules were violated. So let me get in Lokesh Jindal. Mr. Lokesh Jindal, every government loves to advertise. But if rules are bent, then certainly questions must be asked. And in this case, do you think the Aam Aadmi Party needs to answer these questions? Because it's not just about the ad spends, it's also about the manner in which it was done. With one agency which has 38 employees, that's what the report says, 35 of them are on contractual basis, employed in that, and that is not the manner in which ads are normally routed as per the guidelines. Do you think the Aam Aadmi Party needs to answer a few questions?
See, Navika, a political party which does not even have a concrete ideology with itself, which doesn't know what it really has to do. Now it has to do something so that people notice it. So it has to give advertisement. It's not Aam Aadmi Party, it's Ad Aadmi Party. I mean, they have mastered the advertisement, marketing, and all those trends which were usually confined to the corporate world, but now it is being brought into the politics as well. There were certain Ponzi companies like networking marketing. What they used to do, they used to create this intense they had only advertisement that their product is going to appreciate, there will be a lot of good buys in return, and in the end they used to dupe the investors' money. The same model is being applied in politics today, and the party is Aam Aadmi Party. It is going to come down in history as one of the greatest Ponzi political parties. So I welcome this particular move. In fact, this must be investigated, and such political parties must be restricted. A political party which came on the issue of Lokpal, Lokayukt has not even been successful in bringing.
So would you want to congratulate Mr. GVL Narasimha Rao because his government is going after this? Would you want to
see, in 2014 something changed in politics. Now we have advertisers and event managers taking control of the political scenario. So one is the advertiser and another is the event manager. Both of them are basically carrying out their activities.
GVL Narasimha Rao respond. GVL Narasimha Rao respond.
No, Navika, just now we were talking about the numbers, how much Delhi government spends on advertising. This is a reply to a question in Parliament on how much central government spends on advertising, including all the scheme promotions, etc. This is a question that was asked last year. Things could not have changed. This is in 2019-20, which is an election year. We spend, what the central government spent on advertising? 26 crores, 25.68 crores on cable and satellite television, 129 crores on print media, together 153 crores. And 3 crores on social media. This is the total budget of Government of India.
You guys
156 crores in a year. And what is Delhi government splurging? They are spending more than 450 crores in a year now, and 97 crores is what they spent in 2016. I think, is this not a loot of public money in Delhi? If government of India does not need so much more money to advertise, what is this great work that Arvind Kejriwal is doing? Isn't it political advertising to promote his own political party in Goa, Punjab, Gujarat, or wherever they go?
Last word to you. You were raising your hand.
Navika, no, this is a tragedy that we as Aam Aadmis have to suffer year over year, because every political party is wasting taxpayers' money since time began and since advertising began. Everyone is doing so shamelessly. If you look at the BJP central government, you look at all the BJP states, you look at the Congress states in Rajasthan, you look at Aam Aadmi Party, everyone is doing it. मैं तो थक के हार गया, Navika. This is one of the biggest defeats of Aam Aadmis, that they are not able to stop. Even Supreme Court has allowed that government can actually splurge public taxpayers' money on these ads. And you see, when election comes, you have these giant single page newspaper ads, center spreads, everything. Lakhs of crores have been, billions of dollars have been spent by every political party.
Well, the question is not just about advertising, the question is also about the rule book. Advertising, well, the Supreme Court has allowed, but can the rules be flouted? And if the rules have been flouted, should that money that belongs actually to the public be spent in something that actually benefits the public? It's the question the Aam Aadmi on the street is asking. Let's leave it at that. Thank you very much to all my panelists, and thank you viewers for joining me on the Newshour tonight. Good night, be safe, and I'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same show, the Newshour at 9.
The News Hour at 9 will be right back after the break.
आजकल कास्ट में इतनी ज्यादा हाई टेक्नोलॉजी आ गई है जिसके बारे में बात किए बिना नहीं रहा जा सकता, और इसी वजह से आज इस मर्सिडीज EQS जो 580 4matic है उसे हम लेकर आए हैं। इसका रिव्यू, इसकी ड्राइव परफॉर्मेंस तो आप जान चुके हैं, लेकिन इससे कुछ एक कूल फीचर्स ऐसे हैं जिनको मैं खुद से एक्सपीरियंस करना चाह रहा था, इसमें मैंने ड्राइव नहीं किया था, और इनके जो फीचर्स हैं वो एक्चुअली माइंड ब्लोइंग नजर आएंगे। तो ऐसे ही कुछ एक खास फीचर्स के बारे में आज मैं इस स्टोरी में आपको बताने वाला हूं। सबसे पहली चीज जो मुझे कूलनेस के हिसाब से भी और रोड सेफ्टी के हिसाब से भी बहुत ही अच्छी लगी वो है इसके एडेप्टिव जो हेडलैम्प्स हैं। और ये हेडलैम्प्स दरअसल काम ये करते हैं कि जब आप ऑटो मोड में इसे चलाएं तो फिर लो बीम हाई बीम में आपको शिफ्ट करने की जरूरत नहीं है। ऑटो मोड में आप चलाएं और कार जो है वो इंटेलिजेंट है और जो हेडलैम्प्स हैं वो अडेप्टिव हैं, तो आने वाले जो ट्रैफिक है, आने वाली कार्स हैं, ड्राइवर्स हैं, उन्हें ये ब्लाइंड नहीं करती है। लाइट्स अपने आप एडजस्ट हो जाती है और जब सामने कुछ नहीं रहता है तो सड़क बहुत दूर तक, बहुत आगे तक आपको रोशन मिलती है, लाइट्स काफी दूर तक जाते हैं। तो ये बहुत ही स्मार्ट आपको इसके हेडलैम्प का पूरा सेटअप लगेगा। कूलनेस की बात करें तो एक अलग लेवल है, क्योंकि जब इसे आप ऑन करते हैं जो लाइट्स जिस तरह से सीक्वेंशली जगमगाती हैं वो बहुत ही कूल लगता है। और उसके बाद आपको याद आता है कि हाँ, आपने अगर 1.5 करोड़ रुपए दिए हैं जो कि एक शोरूम प्राइस है, वो अगर दिए किसी कार के लिए, तो फिर एक और फीचर है जिसके बारे में आप अपने दोस्तों के साथ पार्टी में डिस्कस कर सकते हैं। एक और कूल फीचर जो बाहर से ही आपको देखने को मिलेगा, और वो आपको शायद याद होगा जब हमने जो AMG की थी, EQS का AMG वर्जन, उसमें भी था और वो भी काफी कूल लगा था। इसमें भी आपको वो कूल लगेगा। बस उंगलियां स्लाइड कीजिए यहाँ पर, जैसे कि हम सभी को आदत है, अपने अपने स्मार्टफोन के ऊपर हम स्लाइड करते रहते हैं, और ये कार जो है वो खुल जाती है। आप इसे इस दरवाजे को खोलिए और फिर इसे आप टच कीजिए और ये बंद भी हो जाती है। थैंकफुली अभी चाबी मैंने अपने पॉकेट में रखी हुई है, क्योंकि टेक्नोलॉजी ऐसी है जिसने पहली बार मुझे थोड़ा सा नर्वस किया था कि ये खोलूं तो खोलूं कैसे। मैं दबा रहा था बार बार और दब नहीं रही थी, और इसे जब स्लाइड किया तब ये कार खुली। तो ये एक बहुत ही कूल फीचर मुझे नजर आया। जब बाहर ही हैं तो एक और फीचर के बारे में आपको बताता हूं, और वो है इस लग्जरी कार में, लग्जरी इलेक्ट्रिक कार में ढेर सारा जो लग स्पेस है। लुक एट दिस। यहाँ पर इस तरह के रिव्यूज में आमतौर पर हम कहते हैं आपकी सारी गोल्फ किट इसमें अट सकती है, और यहाँ पे मैं देख के सबसे पहले वही कह सकता हूँ, क्योंकि लगेज के लिए तो जगह काफी है ही। अगर आप गोल्फ के भी शौकीन हैं, वहां पे भी 2-3 लोगों की गोल्फ किट तो यहाँ पर आ सकते हैं। वैसे इस पिलो को देखकर ये मत समझिए कि यहाँ पर सोने की जगह मिलेगी, नहीं। दिस इज लाइक आई डोंट नो व्हाट, सेमी नॉच बैक काइंड ऑफ बैग या फास्ट बैक काइंड ऑफ बैग, और इसे एक बटन से ही आप बंद कर सकते हैं। गाइस, कूलनेस केवल इतनी ही नहीं है, इस लोगों को जरा सा आप अंदर दबाइए और
You're watching the News Hour at 9.
BJP holds Parliamentary Party meeting in Delhi. PM Narendra Modi lays emphasis on celebration of International Millet Year 2023 during the meet. Lunch at the Parliament included meals made of millet. The Kerala High Court pulls up the state government for delay in recovering damages caused during the statewide bandh called by the Popular Front of India on September 23rd. Google and Alphabet CEO Sundar Pichai meets EAM Dr. S. Jaishankar in Delhi. They discussed India's digital transformation. Conman Sukesh Chandrasekhar and actor Jacqueline Fernandez appeared before the Delhi court in the 200 crore money laundering case. Jacqueline has moved an application seeking to travel abroad.
You were watching the News Hour at 9. Stay tuned.
गाइस, आज हम यहाँ पे लेके आए हैं एक बहुत ही अनोखा डिवाइस, द न्यू ओप्पो रेनो 8 प्रो हाउस ऑफ द ड्रैगन्स एडिशन। एंड चलिए इसे अनबॉक्स करते हैं। डब्बा तो काफी बड़ा दिया है इन्होंने। आपको गाइस दिख रहा होगा, ये है आपका ड्रैगन के स्केल्स जैसा पैटर्न दिया हुआ है यहाँ पे। मैंने इसके आधे पैकेजिंग फाड़ दी ऑलरेडी। ये रहा आपका रेनो 8 प्रो हाउस ऑफ द ड्रैगन्स एडिशन। चलिए तो इसे अनबॉक्स करते हैं। बॉक्स का जैसा आप देख सकते हैं यहाँ पे हाउस ऑफ ड्रैगन्स का इंसिग्निया दिया हुआ है। यहाँ पे हाउस ऑफ द ड्रैगन्स ओप्पो लिखा हुआ है एंड पीछे HBO का लोगो, ऑफिशियल मर्चेंडाइज। ये 12-256 वेरिएंट है। सो चलिए इसे ओपन करते हैं। ओके, सो ये ओपन होता है एक स्क्रोल के साथ। ये रहा आपका स्क्रोल। हाँ, तो इसमें आपका पूरा लिखा हुआ है, गॉड्स किंग्स फायर एंड ब्लड, ड्रीम्स डिडंट मेक अस किंग्स, ड्रैगन्स डिड। सो ये है आपका स्क्रोल। अच्छा, तो इसमें एक नीचे ये दिया हो गया है। सो अब निकलेगा मेन। सो इसमें स्टार्टिंग ऑफ, अच्छा ये है आपका एक सिम इजेक्टेड टूल ड्रैगन के शेप में। ये आपका एक कीचेन है। सो बेसिकली इस लिमिटेड एडिशन को आपको इंडिया में अभी लॉन्च हुआ है। सो ये है आपका कीचेन ड्रैगन के इंसिग्निया के साथ।
Good evening and welcome. You're watching the News Hour Agenda. I'm Padmaja Joshi. On the 21st of June this year, 54-year-old Umesh Prahladra Kohle was murdered in cold blood in Maharashtra, butchered in front of his own son and daughter-in-law as he drove back home. Apparently, his murder was retribution for the support he had shown online for Nupur Sharma. But now the charge sheet by the NIA in the murder of Kohle shows that Nupur Sharma was merely an excuse. Umesh Kohle was actually killed by a bunch of people who basically in their head thought that Islamic law is above Indian law and the Indian constitution.
This murder was an outcome of a firm belief in the mind of these radicals that they do have the right to mete out death as a punishment for an imagined concept of blasphemy that exists in their head. Umesh Kolhe was not a victim of imagined hurt or insult. He simply was a victim of extreme Islamic radicalization and indoctrination. And a radicalization that it seems is agnostic of how educated you are or what you do in life. Among those arrested and charged for the murder of Kohle are a Maulvi and a social worker. The charge sheet says that the killers were radicalized and were members of the Tablighi Jamaat who were instigated by social activist Irfan Khan and Maulvi Mushfiq Ahmad. The terrorist gang of 11 was highly influenced by the ideology of brutality, which says that Gustakh-e-Nabi ki ek saza sar tan se juda. And the intention of their crime was absolutely crystal clear in their head: to strike terror into the hearts and minds of the general population who supported Nupur Sharma's statement and to take away from people the very idea of their free speech. But despite all of this, there is still a reluctance to recognize the elephant in the room: radicalization that, if not recognized and checked, could one day consume us all.
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Joining us now on the debate, Rishi Bagri, political analyst, Ratan Sharda, author, Mujibur Rahman, lawyer. But my first question is to Advocate Talha Rashadi, spokesperson of the Rashtriya Ulema Council. Talha Rashadi, isn't it very clear now that there is growing radicalization, and it was radicalization which was behind the murder of Umesh Kohle? Everything else is incidental.
Padmaja, my answer to your question is with the question: what is the genesis based on which you come to this conclusion? What leads to you to this conclusion?
I will tell you.
About
I will actually. Okay. I will quote to you.
About the
I will quote to you. That's a very good question.
Understand about the cow vigilante?
Right. So let me actually quote to you. You are saying, why did I reach this conclusion? Here is what the charge sheet in the murder of Umesh Kohle says. Umesh Kohle was a law-abiding citizen without any adverse history of any dispute with any other person in general and the accused in particular. He exercised his right to free speech in a free country and declared his support to alleged controversial remarks of Nupur Sharma. His execution is not a simple act of murder carried out with an intention of merely punishing him. It is an act of terror by a gang of radicalized men who wanted to make an example out of the victim's murder. That is why I asked the question. Talha Rashadi.
So a theory, okay, it's a theory of the prosecution and you are reading it as a gospel truth. That's hilarious to me. That's ridiculous. You know, the prosecution has to strengthen its case, so it will say anything and it will in defense of its case. So let the judiciary come to a conclusion. And then other thing is that cherry picking a few lines from the charge sheet. The charge sheet must be voluminous. Cherry picking a few lines from the charge sheet and describe it to suit your agenda
and killed him.
Padmaja, why don't you question when people are being lynched, people are being
I
killed
question
in the
that
name
all
of
the time,
religion,
sir.
people are
But since you talk
Muslims
about
in
the
India,
laughable theory,
in the new India of
let me actually quote to you.
Muslims are being lynched on what they
I
eat,
question that
on
all
what
the time,
they
but
practice,
today,
on what they
just for
study,
today,
on what they speak,
because obviously Umesh Kohle's life does not matter without there being whataboutery. So Mr. Rashadi, just for today, let it be about Umesh Kohle, because the poor man was stabbed in the neck and almost beheaded. So let's today just give 20 minutes to this man who was beheaded.
Yes, I have full sympathy
with him. So just 20
him.
minutes give it to him. Might not be important, but let's give 20 minutes to him. And since you say that this is a prosecution theory and you are finding it laughable, let me quote to you a message that was, by the way, sent by Umesh Kohle's own friend. Now for people who say, and listen to this carefully, also Ratan Sharda, you please listen to this. For people who say, oh, Umesh Kolhe went out of his way to insult the Prophet, all he did was, on one WhatsApp group, he put out a message saying, let's support Nupur Sharma. On that WhatsApp group called Black Freedom, there was one man who was his own friend, Yusuf, accused number 7. Yusuf took a screenshot of Umesh Kolhe's message and spread it across Amravati with the accompanying message, and I quote, अमित मेडिकल प्रभात ताकीज तहसील के सामने इसको बताना है कि जिन लोगों के भरोसे कमाई की उनसे ही दुश्मनी का अंजाम क्या होता है. इस मैसेज को ज्यादा से ज्यादा ग्रुप को सेंड करें. This is what Yusuf, Umesh Kolhe's friend, did. He took a screenshot of one message that Umesh Kolhe had put, because Umesh Kolhe thought that he had the right to free speech. All he is saying is Nupur Sharma को support करें. His friend Yusuf says, जिन लोगों के भरोसे की कमाई की उनसे ही दुश्मनी का क्या अंजाम होता है. What do you think that the ultimate aim of this was?
And what is the conclusion that that's the what's the mens rea? What's the mens rea? How do you come to a conclusion that they, by this quote, they meant to kill him? And what is the mens rea of Umesh Kolhe when he said that कि नुपुर शर्मा को support करो?
क्यों? इस देश में आपको हक नहीं है नुपुर शर्मा को सपोर्ट करने का.
We don't know what was his mens rea, what was his intention.
यहाँ लोग अजमल कसम को सपोर्ट कर रहे थे.
Now other thing is,
यहाँ लोग पार्लियामेंट अटैक के कॉन्विक्ट के सपोर्ट में सुप्रीम कोर्ट गए.
जो कर रहे थे उन्हें सजा दीजिए ना, जो कर रहे थे उन्हें सजा दीजिए. उमेश कोहले के जो हथियार है उन्हें फांसी पे चढ़ा दीजिए. You should go by the rule of the law. उमेश कोहले के जो हथियार है उन्हें फांसी पे चढ़ा दीजिए. I demand that. 11 नहीं 111 हो. उन्हें डिमांड कीजिए. But you know this generalization of Islamic radicalization, this is where I have objection. I don't have any objection.
Is there a generalization
if you want
of
11 नहीं 111 आप सबको फांसी पे चढ़ा दीजिए. मैं डिमांड करता हूँ. But this generalization of Islamic radicalization, no one talks about Hindu radicalization. When ATF and NIA described it in the Malegaon case.
Okay,
why don't you do a debate on that topic?
Okay, your question is generalization of Islamic radicalism.
What is terror?
Talha Rashadi is saying hang these 11 by their neck. But why are you generalizing and demonizing Ratan Sharda?
Well, NIA is not an RSS body. CBI is not an RSS body. SIT is not an RSS body. He talks of saffron terror. He remembers that this is the only.
Do you agree that Sadhvi Pragya, what did the NIA said about Sadhvi Pragya and Colonel Purohit? Do you agree with that?
आपने काफी बोल लिया.
सर साध्वी प्रज्ञा और कर्नल पुरोहित के बारे में एटीएस ने अपनी चार्जशीट में क्या क्या मालेगांव ब्लास्ट में आप अग्री करते हैं उससे तो मैं यहाँ पे एनआईए से अग्री करता हूँ. आप बस इतना बताइए.
Okay, one at a time, gentlemen. One at a time, because otherwise we'll just keep shouting at each other for 20 minutes.
में आपका विश्वास.
Okay, don't generalize Ratan Sharda.
I am saying, when he talks of, since he talked of Sadhvi Pragya or Colonel Purohit, though I feel it's beyond my dignity to talk about it, because this case were hanging on 5 or 6 years. Under UPA, there was no charge sheet filed because there was no case. It was an artificially created case. It is the only case in history where same government had 2 cases, one against Muslims, one against Hindu for the same incident. These were cases where every evidence showed, including the accused, that this was Muslim attack in Ajmer, but our government said it's a Hindu terror. And then Pakistan had let off hook. All evidence was in the air. So let us not talk of that. He talked of lynching. We keep on talking of 3 lynchings, but there are 150 Hindus killed by terrorists in India during the same period. We don't talk of them because that will last entire program will start giving those names. Now coming to the main issue. Let us say India is bigot. Let us say we are bigot. We believe that Tablighi Jamaat is a Bhagwan ka banda and all these Hindus are after their blood. Now tell me, this is the normalization that talks about Saudi Arabia banned with many other Islamic countries this particular Tablighi Jamaat, saying it's a gateway to terror. Okay? January 2022, Pakistani, Talibani and Afghanis, these radicals fueled the Kazakhstan riots. This is a news in the international as well as national news. There is South Asia Democratic Forum, which is the anti-terror forum, which clearly says that the Tablighi Jamaat is a mask for inducting people to breed terror in entire Europe. The study talks about French talks about Belgium and every country where this is Tablighi Jamaat and the Islamic radicalism has reached the stage where France says 80% of terror attacks in France are linked to Tablighi Jamaat followers. Having said that, let us come to Dr. Farhan Zahid of Pakistan. Let us not talk of India at all because we are all bigot Saffronists. He says 1990 former DG ISI Lieutenant General Javed Nasir was a member of the Tablighi Jamaat. 1993 attempt of coup against Benazir Bhutto was influenced by Tablighi Jamaat. It was Deobandi ideology which prompted the Tablighi Jamaat. During 1980s, Tablighi Jamaat was known for recruitment of entire Islamist radicals for Afghan war. The most radical Islamist group have done an interaction with Tablighi Jamaat. They have never condemned any terror attack and suicide bombing. This Tablighi Jamaat, entire history, then they have never condemned any attack. And if you talk of RSS, what about, so RSS is there in Nigeria, RSS is there in Saudi Arabia, it is there in Belgium, it is there in France, it is there in Somalia, Sudan, Kenya, and USA, UK also.
And let's again underline, this is not just about the Tablighi Jamaat. It so happens that these people happen to prescribe to the Tablighi Jamaat thought, but they are but one conduit. The larger question though is about growing radicalization, of which Tablighi Jamaat is but a part. Talha Rashadi.
Padmaja, I just want to rebut my learned friend. You know, when something that suits their agenda and narrative, they will take the examples from Pakistan and Afghanistan. Otherwise, they will send Muslims of India to Pakistan and they say that Pakistan is their number one.
Sorry,
something that suits their agenda, they will make Pakistan their maiba. Now the other thing is that.
I said let us talk
please,
of
I didn't.
Okay, please don't interrupt him. Let him also have his say. Go on, Mr. Rashadi. Yes, but argue on facts. The fact that they have been banned, the fact that they have been called out, and the fact that others like Tablighi Jamaat have also been called out as radical organizations. Go on. Yes.
Why if we are in India, we would talk about India. I don't know about Tablighi Jamaat of Pakistan, of Saudi Arabia, of Afghanistan. My learned friend sitting here, the professor must be knowing because he has his relations with them. But I don't know anything about them. I know about the Tablighi Jamaat of India. There's no such history of theirs. There's no criminal history of theirs. These people are the most peaceful people. They are propagating a religious organization.
They are propagating Islam. Then it's even more worrying. Why did these 11 people get radicalized enough? Now imagine this. When I'm talking about radicalization, you could be driven by anger, you could be driven by hatred. But imagine, such was the level of preparation that actually the office of Rehbar COVID helpline was used to plan the entire murder of Umesh Kohle. Do you know that the 11 accused kept their phones in the ambulance of Rehbar COVID helpline to throw off investigators so that their location could not be triangulated through their mobile phones? What is the level of evil that would inspire somebody to use an ambulance for your crime? Now it's very rich, Mujibur Rahman, that in this country we become apoplectic at the idea of freedom of speech being under attack, except when your life depends on it, because then freedom of speech is subservient to the idea of blasphemy. Now let me read from the charge sheet. This murder was done in a manner that will send shivers down the spine of general population of this peace-loving democratic country, who will never dare to speak up for what they think is right or wrong. The brutality of murdering a father in front of his son under open sky in a public space with proper planning and celebration after doing the act was with an intention to strike terror in a large section of society. It's a terrorist action, to say the least. This was basically to tell Indians that you will have your freedom of speech until we decide that you don't have that freedom. Umesh Kohle learnt that with his life. Mujibur Rahman.
First of all, I will say that gentleman who is misusing your platform to mislead the nation that Saudi Arabia has banned Tablighi Jamaat. Let me tell you, the Saudi Arabia has banned a group of Al-Bahab that is called Al-Ahbab, which is from an African country, and because they are deviating from their own Wahhabism. So that group is called Al-Ahbab. They call themselves Tablighi Jamaat because they are in Dawa. Everybody who is in Dawa is called Tablighi person. So even the Ministry of Saudi Arabia on dated 6th of December 2021 has tweeted about it. So, but this fascist person will not tell the truth to the nation. First thing is this. You can go and check out the Ministry of External Affairs tweet of 6th of December 2021, Mr. Gentleman. And now come to that point. If you call it, if Nupur Sharma had been punished under National Security Act, thus these incidents wouldn't happen in the nation.
Why?
Why? This is the first reason.
So what is
Just
this
like
logic?
you can say
what is
that
this
the
logic,
RSS
sir?
says that
You do not decide. You do not decide. Hold on a second, Mr. Mujibur Rahman. You don't decide that you give such and such punishment to Nupur Sharma, else we will riot. You must book Nupur Sharma under a law that doesn't apply to her, else we will behead Umesh Kohle. What kind of logic is this? That you will dictate terms to the police. So interesting thing. Here is what happened in this case also, that this bunch of people went to the police and said, file case against Nupur Sharma. The cops told them that she has various FIRs already against her in various parts of the country. So they said, we must do something big to teach people a lesson. This is utter blackmail. You will not decide which law will be applied to Nupur Sharma. The constitution of the country and the Indian Penal Code will decide what law applies to Nupur Sharma. Why should she be booked under National Security Act? It doesn't apply to her in this present case. She was booked under the sections that apply to her, and she is still being tried under those sections, sir.
Keep shouting, keep shouting, keep shouting. I don't do such type of debates.
No, I am not doing the debate and shouting. I am telling you the facts, sir.
You can put any image of my. You can use any photo of me in place of me. I'm going, okay.
I do not have to put any image. If you cannot answer questions based on facts, then you're welcome to leave. But I am asking you, what kind of logic, Mr. Rahman, is it that you book Nupur Sharma under Public Safety Act, or we will behead Umesh Kohle?
Keep shouting. Put my photo on the frame and keep shouting.
I will not put your photo. I will let it be empty because you are running away after blackmailing. Rishi Bagri. Is this a logic applicable in India? That because Nupur Sharma wasn't booked and hanged immediately, that is why Umesh Kohle was murdered. Rishi Bagri.
Padmaja, Mr. Talar Ashar was saying ki let the law take its own course. Let the law take its own course in Nupur Sharma case also, whether she is offended or not. Let the law decide. No? Why you need to decide? A series of murders are taking place just because somebody is supporting Nupur Sharma. You have seen what have happened in the Udaipur. The person completely beheaded Kanhaiya Lal just because of this thing, and they would have given the clean sheet if those people haven't live streamed that murder. And again, they are ready to give a clean sheet to this 11 people who are actually went ahead and killed Umesh Kohle just because he supported Nupur Sharma in some random WhatsApp chat group. I don't understand. Then what they do, they bring the false equivalence. Bhaiya, what Sadhvi Pragya ka kya hua, Colonel Purohit ka kya hua? That was I just want to say, you had 10 years of UPA government. You had a government in the Maharashtra. Both the government tried their level best. कुछ charges prove नहीं हुआ, कुछ भी नहीं हुआ. They've been exonerated by the judiciary, by the same rule of law. Which अरे भैया वही rule of law ने exonerate कर दिया ना, उसको छोड़ दिया ना. तो आपको रूल ऑफ लॉ को तो आप रेस्पेक्ट करते नहीं हो. आपसे बड़ी बड़ी बात करने बैठ जाते हो यहाँ पर. अगर साध्वी प्रज्ञा को रूल ऑफ लॉ नहीं छोड़ा था ना, और व्हाट एग्जैक्टली यू आर ट्राइंग टू डू, व्हाई यू आर किलिंग पीपल जस्ट बिकॉज दैट पर्सन इज सपोर्टिंग नपुर शर्मा. आप किसी को भी आप कत्लेआम कर दोगे, आप किसी को स्टैप कर दोगे, किसी को मार दोगे. ये क्या हो रहा है भाई? रूल ऑफ लॉ बोल के कोई चीज नहीं, आप कुछ भी कर सकते हो, और आप जस्टिफाई भी कर रहे हो इस चीज को. आप जस्टिफाई भी करने पहुंच जाते हो. 11 लोगों ने मारा एक उमेश कोले को. एंड यू नो पद्मजा, द एमजीए गवर्नमेंट एक्चुअली नेवर टुक कॉग्निजेंस ऑफ दिस ऑफेंस. 12 दिन तक कोई केस फाइल नहीं हुआ. 12 दिन तक ये बताया नहीं गया इट वाज अ हेट क्राइम. उसके बाद गवर्नमेंट चेंज हुई एंड दैट केस वेंट टू एनआईए. तब जाके वो सेम पुलिस हैव एक्चुअली कॉट दोस क्रिमिनल्स इन द नेक्स्ट फ्यू डेज. उससे पहले किसी ने कुछ किया नहीं. दिस इज द काइंड ऑफ लेवल ऑफ अपीजमेंट दिस पीपल शोज.
here's the shocking
मुल्जिमों को
thing.
माला पहना रहे
What
हैं।
was the message? What was the message which was sent out after Kohle's murder? उस गुस्ताख अमित मेडिकल वाले को चाकू से मार दिया. Because the idea was that this is blasphemy and a concept which is being applied to India that doesn't exist here. Clearly, these are people who believe they are above Indian law. They are imposing their own law, their own trial and their own punishment.
Padmaja, no one is above the law. Everyone is and has to believe in the law of the country, law of the land. Now the thing is that they did something that was against the law. They are being punished and
But
they are
sir,
facing the law.
why did they do it?
Now Nupur
Why
Sharma
did
did
they do
something
it?
against the law.
You have
What
to
was the
come to
message
the
that
root
Nupur
of the
Sharma wanted
problem.
to convey?
They did
Who
it,
are
we
the
know.
people who are,
Obviously you
who
cannot
are
die
yet
because
not
poor
arrested?
Umesh Kolhe
Nupur
is
Sharma.
dead.
Why
And
is
it was
the-
caught on
why is the
CCTV.
Home Ministry providing
Why
her
did they do
that
it?
net?
Sir, why did they do it? Why did they do it? Answer that question. Why did they do it?
Go and ask them. I am not here to answer
They
about
did it
them.
because they are
It's some
radicalized.
11
A
fringe
concept
elements.
which you
They were
say
fringe
doesn't
elements of the
exist.
community. They were the black sheep of the community.
No.
They are hardcore criminals.
They are
Punish
far
them.
too many.
Hang them till death.
Since you keep talking about this Nupur Sharma effect, do you know that the first murder, Mr. Rashadi, the first murder this year, which everyone chooses to ignore for the concept of blasphemy, actually took place on the 25th of January 2022, and that man's name was Kishan Bharwar. Kishan Bharwar has shared a post online with a picture of the Prophet, with the result that on the 25th of January he was shot dead, and a Maulvi from Gujarat was arrested for asking for Kishan Bharwar to be murdered. Nupur Sharma hadn't spoken until May. Why was Kishan Bharwar murdered in January?
Padmaja, they are the apologists. You know, they are there to whitewash the crimes done by these radicals. They will say these people are mentally unstable. They will say the murdering mob has no religion. They will say that
Maulvi has been arrested. He will face the law.
Actually fearing
the question here should be, why is Nupur Sharma yet not been arrested? Why the BJP central government ministers are garlanding people who are convicted
Mr.
in the
Rashadi,
case of mob
you
lynching?
continue to go on and on about Nupur Sharma, in some way implying that Nupur Sharma led to Kolhe's murder. But you haven't answered that if Nupur Sharma speaking in May led to Kolhe being murdered in June, then why was Kishan Bharwar murdered in January? Nupur Sharma hadn't even spoken by then. Why was Kishan Bharwar murdered?
I never said anything that because of Nupur Sharma. I never said that. I say that the law should be equal for everyone. Who are the people who are pampering people like Nupur Sharma? Why is Nupur Sharma yet not facing the law of the land if the law is equal for everyone? Why is she saying on the TV, on live TV, that I got calls from Home Ministry, I am getting support from ministers, from PMO? Why
She actually said no such thing. She actually said no such thing. And sir, you are absolutely right. In the country, the law isn't equal for everyone, because plenty of people say blasphemous things about the Hindu religion and they live as free citizens. But Nupur Sharma lives in a country where she said something and she is still living in fear of her life. So you're right. The law is not equal for everyone because the law is being pretty unequal for Nupur Sharma. Concluding remarks, Ratan Sharda.
See, problem with these people is their apologies for the radicalized Islamist youth to say that as entire Islam is radical, he will start shouting at me. But I am saying, if there are people who are caught, he said everybody you name, he says, okay, उसको मार दो, लेकिन इस्लाम को कुछ मत कहो, तबलीग जमात को कुछ मत कहो, हम कह रहे हैं क्या? It is the world over who are saying it. Is not this violence across the world? Is it only limited to this particular country? Is it only limited to 2014? Before 2014, there was no right.
पाकिस्तान चले जाइए, अफगानिस्तान पे भरोसा, अफगानिस्तान चले जाइए.
अरे भाई तो आप चले जाइए, मैंने कब रोका आपको? मैंने तो किसी को नहीं कहा पाकिस्तान जाने को. आपको इच्छा आप चले जाइए ना, मैंने नहीं कहा. मेरे सारी जिंदगी में मैंने किसी को नहीं कहा.
मान रहे हैं, हम तो पाकिस्तान की मान ही नहीं रहे, हम तो दुश्मन मानते हैं उसको अपना.
इल्जाम लगे हैं सारे दुनिया में जो अटैक हो रहे हैं, टेरर अटैक हो रहे हैं, सबको आप नजरअंदाज करेंगे और कहेंगे ये टेरर नहीं है।
And Talha Rashadi, it's not just about what's happening in Pakistan. If you had a Safura Bibi being murdered in Pakistan, you also had a Samuel Paty being murdered in France. You also had Deborah, a Christian student, being burnt by her own classmates in Nigeria for supposed blasphemy. And there's only one common thread through all of this: terrible, creeping radicalization, which countries are now realizing, recognizing and addressing. In India, though, we continue to remain in denial, maybe at our own peril. Thanks very much, all gentlemen, for joining me. It's become yet another flashpoint between the Delhi Lieutenant Governor and the Aam Aadmi Party government, as the LG directed the Chief Secretary to recover 97 crore rupees from the Aam Aadmi Party and accused it of publishing political advertisements in the garb of government ads. The LG accused the AAP of gross misappropriation of public funds and said that the party used the state exchequer to pay for ads in violation of the Supreme Court order. In 2016, the centre had formed a 3-member committee to regulate advertising content on Supreme Court's direction, after which ads issued by the Directorate of Information and Publicity were investigated. The LG said that despite the DIP order and the lapse of 5 years and 8 months, the AAP hasn't paid back the money used by it so far. Now, the LG has called it contempt and said that all of this money should be recovered or else there would be action taken.
एलजी साहब ने आके खुद कुछ नहीं किया, वही रिपोर्ट जो है, जो अभी तक पेंडिंग चलती आ रही थी, उस रिपोर्ट के ऊपर काम किया है। और मैं मानता हूं ये 97 करोड़ रुपया तो पुरानी रिपोर्ट का है। अगर आप 2022 तक का इनका वाइट पेपर इशू करने को कहेंगे तो मेरा मानना है कि कम से कम 1000 करोड़ रुपए से ज्यादा ऐसा पैसा है जो आम आदमी पार्टी से वसूलना बनेगा, जो उन्होंने सरकार का पैसा, खजाने का पैसा अपनी पार्टी के लिए और अपने प्रचार के लिए खर्च किया है।
भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने अपने एलजी को कहा कि ये कई साल पुराना मामला, विज्ञापनों का मामला, जो कई साल पहले ठंडे बस्ते में डाला गया, उसको दोबारा निकाला गया। और पहली बात तो ये कि एलजी साहब के पास कोई ऐसी पावर ही नहीं है कि वो इस तरीके के आदेश पारित करे। दिल्ली के पिछले सिर्फ 1 महीने के अखबार मैंने ढूंढवाए, सिर्फ 1 महीने के, और कोई ऐसा भारतीय जनता पार्टी का राज्य नहीं है जिसका विज्ञापन दिल्ली के अखबारों में ना छपे। योगी आदित्यनाथ, प्रिसीजन कमर्शियल प्लॉट्स विद मार्वेलस ग्रोथ इन बिजनेस।
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Dr. Suman C. Raman and Hooda Zariwala, political analysts, are with us. My first question is to you, Shazia Ilmi, spokesperson of the BJP. Today, the Aam Aadmi Party in a press conference said that so far you have got BJP governments, including those in Haryana, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Goa, also publishing their ads in newspapers in Delhi. Those ads add up to about 22,000 crores. Why are your ads okay, but the Aam Aadmi Party is not?
Absolutely. I mean,
the question is to Shazia Ilmi, ma'am. Yes, go on.
22 lakh crores and worth. So first of all, it is what the LG is pointing out is in accordance with the Supreme Court order of 2015 and the Delhi High Court order of 2016. And all it says is that the state exchequer and the monies involved should not be used for personal propaganda, as Arvind Kejriwal has done indeed, which we all are only too aware of. We remember what happened to the former Chief Secretary when he raised this question, Anshu Srivastav, and how he was beaten up by 2 of Aam Aadmi Party MLAs, and there was later a charge sheet as well. It is actually out there. But of course, lots of sections of the press ignored it. The fact of the matter is that 97 crores of, and that is a lot of money. Think of how much of money that is, was used out of the Delhi state exchequer, which is given
the question to you is fine. What they did is wrong.
Delhi residents.
The question to you is why is the UP government ads are in Delhi newspapers? How is that okay?
Well, we ask the UP government that, and I'm answering this question. I'm saying that the BJP is giving its ads and it's about the policies or it's about the government. But here Arvind Kejriwal used like engine half, ads like those which are about propaganda and how Kejriwal is Mahan. And to glorify Kejriwal from the state exchequer, which is prohibited.
All right. This is to glorify an individual. And the state government pays for it. Who does it?
Which is completely prohibited. And not just that. It is the same Saurabh Bhardwaj who actually went to the Vidhan Sabha assembly floor and showed some box and said, EVMs are hacked. So they come up with anything.
Okay, wait. Let's stick to the topic. Let's not go to EVMs right now. Yes, who does Ariwala?
That has just been said.
Who does Ariwala? So this is about glorifying an individual at the state's expense. Who does Ariwala?
Aam Aadmi Party.
Okay, so let us understand. As far as glorifying a certain individual at the expenditure of not just the state money but the money of the treasury and absolutely everything that belongs to the public, I think nobody does it better than the BJP. Right from having the Prime Minister's face on, the COVID vaccination certificate to absolutely everything and anything that is relevant to India. We see the Prime Minister being glorified. And how? As far as the ads are concerned, as far as everything that BJP does to glorify BJP, to glorify the Prime Minister, to glorify, schemes that may or may not even be implemented to begin with. I don't think anybody does it better than the BJP. So what is really the LG talking about? As the ads that are being used, the ads that are being advertised, everything that the Aam Aadmi Party government does, it is for the people to see the policies, for the people to understand that, what policies are being implemented. And
okay, but if they are Delhi government policies, why are you advertising them in Gujarat?
Did the BJP not advertise advertisements in Delhi, in Punjab as well? Okay, maybe not so much in Punjab, but in Delhi and other,
Prime Minister is the Prime Minister of the entire country. But Prime Minister is the Prime Minister of entire country. But we don't see advertisements of Shivraj Singh Chauhan ji in UP or in Gujarat.
Shazia ji, this is the glorification of just the Prime Minister. Okay,
Prime Minister of a country.
A quick question.
And Chief Minister of a state.
What is the need of having what is the
UP government in Gujarat?
What is the need of having the Prime Minister's face on a vaccination certificate?
Actually, ma'am, when you make that comparison, so here's the thing. By the way, who does Ariwala? The court order that we are talking about is from the 13th of May 2015, and it was very clear that ruling parties cannot put the pictures of their leaders in ads publicizing welfare scheme, barring that of President, Prime Minister and Chief Justice of India. So the Prime Minister is exempt. Prime Minister, President and Chief Justice of India. Here we are talking about the Chief Minister of a state and his picture being there in ads publicizing welfare scheme in another state. Dr. Sumansi Raman wants to come in. Yes, Dr. Raman.
Aditya picture, Shivraji.
I think, just one second please. Padmaja, I think Saurabh Bharadwaj was putting it very nicely when he said, let the BJP governments repay 22,000 crores and the AAP government would repay 97 crores. By the way, I'm sort of completely flummoxed when Shazia Ilmi says, go and ask the UP government, don't ask me. The last I checked was UP had a BJP government and has a BJP government. So if she's the official spokesperson, not going to...
I said that and I added that UP, this is the accusation being made by them. I don't believe it. Because UP government's ads can't be shown at the cost of the government exchequer or the UP state exchequer. Because you quoted me, I'm just trying to understand.
Okay, respond.
Now let me if I don't know, I was just trying to quickly look it up. I can actually show you ads for the Madhya Pradesh government schemes in papers in Tamil Nadu. I can show you ads of the Uttar Pradesh government scheme. I can show you Himanta Biswa Sarma's photos plastered on ads advertising the Assam government schemes in Tamil Nadu.
I think
what
that's
are
not
we
true,
talking
sir.
about?
I think you're talking about Himanta Biswa Sarma. I remember the ad that you're talking about. That was for glorification of a hero, a national hero.
No, 1 second. I'm talking about Assam government ads in papers in Tamil Nadu. Now we can do a hair splitting as to what the ad purpose was. Yes. Now every state government, I'm not saying this, every week Ashok Gehlot's government puts ads in papers, in English papers in Tamil Nadu.
No, I
so
have
let's
not
be very
seen.
clear.
I have not
every
seen Shivraj
political
Singh
party
ads in Gujarat or in the UP papers at all.
No, if you have not
which
seen
are
it,
okayed, and who is paying for them is the question.
So my point is very simple.
Okay, can we talk about specifics? Because if you are talking, hold on a second. If you are talking about Assam government ads which spoke of, memorializing Lachit Borphukan, yes, they were in papers all across the country. At least I saw them in Delhi. But that was not a Assam government scheme. It was about a national hero. Is that acceptable?
There are, 1 second, if that is acceptable, there is nothing wrong in advertising a revolutionary scheme launched in a particular state, which can be beneficial to the people of another state, getting to know about it. Look,
how?
This is hair
How does
splitting.
it benefit the people of Punjab if you are saying that I am giving itna bijli free to people in Delhi?
Yes.
Or that women in Delhi are getting free bus transport, or at least I promised to give them.
1 minute. How does it benefit people to have the Yogi Ji's schemes of whatever particular projects in UP or papers in down south? It's the same logic. Come on. Yeah? You can't have two rules.
Can you talk about
every
the specific
government
ad?
is doing that.
Sumanthi Raman, can you talk about the specific ads that we are talking about here of the UP government?
There are dozens of them. UP government. It's not just the UP government. I've given you examples of different, and I'm telling you, Congress governments are doing it. Rajasthan is doing it. Regularly, I'm seeing ads of Rajasthan government papers in Chennai. What the hell is it for? So let's be very clear, Padmaja. No party is clean on this particular issue. The misuse of public money by political parties to further their agenda, it serves dual purposes.
Okay, this is a misuse of public money equally by everyone. Shazia Elmi.
No, it's also a method of currying favor with the media. And
so I would just like to come in. No, please, sir, just fix the audio, please. So I'm having some issue with this. So first of all, I would like to clarify, because when I said ask the UP government of the facts, I want to talk about the facts that are stated officially and not by the allegations made by Saurabh Bhardwaj. So that's what I meant. Of course, I do not believe that UP ads were shown, or ads talking about Yogi Ji's contribution were shown in Tamil Nadu and in Gujarat, which were paid for by the UP state exchequer. That is what I was trying to say, that I would rather ask the UP government of the facts than trust Saurabh Bhardwaj, about his facts, because we know what those facts are all about. And that's when I quoted Saurabh Bhardwaj showing some sort of a box saying that how EVMs are hacked and how he knows it all on the Vidhan. And of course all that changed when they won the elections in Punjab. The EVMs actually started working well. So this is not about the fact that there is somebody trying to malign the Aam Aadmi Party.
Okay, Huda Zariwala is responding to you.
Owed to the state and to the people of the UTs the confused statehood that there is in New Delhi, which clearly states that this money belongs to the people of Delhi and was not meant for advertising and talking about Arvind Kejriwal's propaganda.
Okay, she wants to counter. Huda Zariwala, yes,
that's the point I was making.
I'd like to point out just a few facts and figures here. This is a report by the Economic Times which says that of the total political ad spends on Google, YouTube, and Google's partners' properties of about 27 crores so far, 60%, I repeat, 60% of the ads were paid for by the BJP,
because
amounting to about 17 crores.
97 crores that could have been used for people of Delhi.
500% more
so talking about something
the
else.
national,
97,
than the
every
Indian National
party
Congress
has
as well.
expenses. And no,
It's very interesting you're talking about ad spends, ma'am. I would still be willing to accept that everyone is equally guilty, but if you're talking about ad spends, let me also tell you that since you quoted Economic Times, I'll quote to you from the Hindu. On the 6th of July 2022, in July it was reported that according to an RTI reply from Directorate of Information and Publicity, the Delhi government spending on advertisements increased by 4,273% over 10 financial years ending with 2021-2022. So in 10 years, the ad spend of the Aam Aadmi Party government increased by 4,273%. That's as far as an RTI reply is concerned. Anyhow, this is what the LG says. This is what has been found by a committee that was set up by the central government. Now, ultimately, the Aam Aadmi Party government can have legal recourse.
The only budget that is in surplus of all the states and union territories in India is of Delhi. So let us not forget that Aam Aadmi Party is actually the only party that works for the betterment, for the policies of the people.
Well, ma'am, we're talking very narrowly here about ad spends. Dr. Raman wants to make a point. Yes.
No, first of all, Padmaja, instead of quoting percentage, you should quote the actual numbers. Because if somebody is starting out on a small base, when spending 10 rupees on ad, and then I spend 20 rupees next year, which is still a ridiculously low sum of money, it would be 100% increase in my spend. So you can palm it off and say, oh my God, 100.
By any logic, nobody could be spending 2 rupees, na?
No.
So 4,200% by any stretch of the imagination is still quite mind-boggling.
So tell me the number.
Even if they started with 2 lakh rupees.
No, you tell the number. You tell the number.
So 90.
You tell the numbers. You're refusing.
As always, Dr. Sumansi Raman, you're splitting hairs. That being said, ultimately it's up to the Aam Aadmi Party to go to court, seek legal recourse, because it all filters down from a Supreme Court judgment, subsequently the findings of a committee, and now the LG is saying that the recovery has to be done. 15 days is the deadline, after which action has been promised. We'll keep a close track. Dr. Sumansi Raman and both ladies, thanks for joining me.
The News Hour at 10 will be right back after the break.
आजकल कास्ट में इतनी ज्यादा हाई टेक्नोलॉजी आ गई है जिसके बारे में बात किए बिना नहीं रहा जा सकता, और इसी वजह से आज इस मर्सिडीज EQS जो 580 4matic है उसे हम लेकर आए हैं। इसका रिव्यू, इसकी ड्राइव परफॉर्मेंस तो आप जान चुके हैं, लेकिन इससे कुछ एक कूल फीचर्स ऐसे हैं जिनको मैं खुद से एक्सपीरियंस करना चाह रहा था, इसलिए मैंने ड्राइव नहीं किया था, और इनके जो फीचर्स हैं वो एक्चुअली माइंड ब्लोइंग नजर आएंगे। तो ऐसे ही कुछ एक खास फीचर्स के बारे में आज मैं इस स्टोरी में आपको बताने वाला हूं। सबसे पहली चीज जो मुझे कूलनेस के हिसाब से भी, रोड सेफ्टी।
You're watching the News Hour at 10.
BJP holds Parliamentary Party meeting in Delhi. PM Narendra Modi lays emphasis on celebration of International Millet Year 2023 during the meet. Lunch at the Parliament included meals made of millet. The Kerala High Court pulls up the state government for delay in recovering damages caused during the statewide bandh called by the Popular Front of India on September 23rd. Google and Alphabet CEO Sundar Pichai meets EAM Dr. S. Jaishankar in Delhi. They discussed India's digital transformation. Conman Sukesh Chandrasekhar and actor Jacqueline Fernandez appeared before the Delhi court in the 200 crore money laundering case. Jacqueline has moved an application seeking to travel abroad. BJYM burns an effigy of Bollywood actor Shah Rukh Khan during a protest in Hyderabad demanding the removal of Besharam Rang song from the movie Pathan.
The News Hour at 10. We'll be right back after the break.
गाइस आज हम यहाँ पे लेके आए हैं एक बहुत ही अनोखा डिवाइस, द न्यू ओप्पो रेनो 8 प्रो हाउस ऑफ द ड्रैगन्स एडिशन। एंड चलिए इसे अनबॉक्स करते हैं। डब्बा तो काफी बड़ा दिया है इन्होंने। आपको गाइस दिख रहा होगा, ये है आपका ड्रैगन के स्केल्स जैसा।
You're watching the News Hour at 10.
A team of excise department was attacked with rods and stones by people associated with liquor business in West Champaran. 2 cops have been injured. Mahavikas Aghadi stages protest against the state government outside the State Assembly in Nagpur, demands the resignation of Chief Minister Shinde. A case has been registered in Prayagraj against 43 security guards in connection with clashes at the Allahabad University campus yesterday over a recent fee hike. Farmers of Zira stage a protest for the 3rd day in a row against the establishment of a liquor factory in the village. Police lathi charged the protesters. Indian shares declined, dragged by broad-based losses across sectors on fears of a recession in the United States and a surge in COVID cases in China.
आजकल कास्ट में इतनी ज्यादा हाई टेक्नोलॉजी आ गई है जिसके बारे में बात किए बिना नहीं रहा जा सकता, और इसी वजह से आज इस मर्सिडीज EQS जो 580 4matic है उसे हम लेकर आए हैं। इसका रिव्यू, इसकी ड्राइव परफॉर्मेंस तो आप जान चुके हैं, लेकिन इससे कुछ एक कूल फीचर्स ऐसे हैं जिनको मैं खुद से एक्सपीरियंस करना चाह रहा था, इसलिए मैंने ड्राइव नहीं किया था, और इनके जो फीचर्स हैं वो एक्चुअली माइंड ब्लोइंग नजर आएंगे। तो ऐसे ही कुछ एक खास फीचर्स के बारे में आज मैं इस स्टोरी में आपको बताने वाला हूं। सबसे पहली चीज जो मुझे कूलनेस के हिसाब से भी और रोड सेफ्टी के हिसाब से भी बहुत ही अच्छी लगी वो है इसके एडेप्टिव जो हेडलैम्प्स हैं। और ये हेडलैम्प्स दरअसल काम ये करते हैं कि जब आप ऑटो मोड में इसे चलाएं तो फिर लो बीम हाई बीम में आपको शिफ्ट करने की जरूरत नहीं है। ऑटो मोड में आप चलाएं और कार जो है वो इंटेलिजेंट है और जो हेडलैम्प्स हैं वो एडेप्टिव हैं, तो आने वाले जो ट्रैफिक है, आने वाली कार्स हैं, ड्राइवर्स हैं, उन्हें ये ब्लाइंड नहीं करती है। लाइट्स अपने आप एडजस्ट हो जाती है और जब सामने कुछ नहीं रहता है तो सड़क बहुत दूर तक, बहुत आगे तक आपको रोशन मिलती है, लाइट्स काफी दूर तक जाते हैं। तो ये बहुत ही स्मार्ट आपको इसके हेडलैम्प का पूरा सेटअप लगेगा। कूलनेस की बात करें तो एक अलग लेवल है, क्योंकि जब इसे आप ऑन करते हैं जो लाइट्स जिस तरह से सीक्वेंशली जगमगाती हैं वो बहुत ही कूल लगता है, और उसके बाद आपको याद आता है कि हाँ, आपने अगर 1.5 करोड़ रुपए दिए हैं जो कि एक शोरूम प्राइस है, वो अगर दिए किसी कार के लिए, तो फिर एक और फीचर है जिसके बारे में आप अपने दोस्तों के साथ पार्टी में डिस्कस कर सकते हैं। एक और कूल फीचर जो बाहर से ही आपको देखने को मिलेगा, और वो आपको शायद याद होगा जब हमने जो AMG की थी, EQS का AMG वर्जन, उसमें भी था और वो भी काफी कूल लगा था। इसमें भी आपको वो कूल लगेगा। बस उंगलियां स्लाइड कीजिए यहाँ पर, जैसे कि हम सभी को आदत है, अपने अपने स्मार्टफोन के ऊपर हम स्लाइड करते रहते हैं, और ये कार जो है वो खुल जाती है। आप इसे इस दरवाजे को खोलिए और फिर इसे आप टच कीजिए और ये बंद भी हो जाती है। थैंकफुली अभी चाबी मैंने अपने पॉकेट में रखी हुई है, क्योंकि टेक्नोलॉजी ऐसी है जिसने पहली बार मुझे थोड़ा सा नर्वस किया था, ये खोलूं तो खोलूं कैसे। मैं दबा रहा था बार बार और दब नहीं रही थी, और इसे जब स्लाइड किया तब ये कार खुली। तो ये एक बहुत ही कूल फीचर मुझे नजर आया। जब बाहर ही हैं तो एक और फीचर के बारे में आपको बताता हूं, और वो है इस लग्जरी कार में, लग्जरी इलेक्ट्रिक कार में ढेर सारा जो लग स्पेस है। लुक एट दिस। यहाँ पर इस तरह के रिव्यूज में आमतौर पर हम कहते हैं आपकी सारी गोल्फ किट इसमें अट सकती है, और यहाँ पे मैं देख के सबसे पहले वही कह सकता हूँ, क्योंकि लगेज के लिए तो जगह काफी है ही। अगर आप गोल्फ के भी शौकीन हैं, वहां पे भी 2-3 लोगों के गोल्फ किट तो यहाँ पर आ सकते हैं। वैसे इस पिलो को देखकर ये मत समझिए कि यहाँ पर सोने की जगह मिलेगी, नहीं। दिस इज लाइक आई डोंट नो व्हाट, सेमी नॉच बैक काइंड ऑफ बैग या फास्ट बैक काइंड ऑफ बैग, और इसे एक बटन से ही आप बंद कर सकते हैं। गाइस, कूलनेस केवल इतनी ही नहीं है, इस लोगों को जरा सा आप अंदर दबाइए और ये जो हैच है इसका वो खुल जाता है। इंटरेस्टिंग ना? तो गाइस, जिस तरह से हम स्मार्टफोन को स्लाइड करते हैं, ओपन करते हैं और उसके साथ इंटरैक्ट करते हैं, कार खुलती तो वैसे है, लेकिन अंदर का माहौल क्या है? अंदर भी बहुत सारी ऐसी चीजें आपको देखने को मिलेंगी। जैसे आप देख सकते हैं यहाँ पर फिंगरप्रिंट आपका स्कैनर है, जिससे कि कार समझ जाएगी हाँ वो जिसे पहचानती है वही इसे ऑपरेट कर रहा है। सो ऑब्वियसली कीलेस एंट्री और कीलेस ऑपरेशन के नेक्स्ट लेवल आप यहां पर देख सकते हैं कि कार आपको पहचान जाएगी। इसके अलावा स्क्रीन के साइज के बारे में तो आपने सुना ही होगा, 56 इंच के टोटल सेटअप है, जहां पर इंस्ट्रूमेंटेशन है, बीच में एक बहुत बड़ा सा स्क्रीन है, लेफ्ट में को ड्राइवर या पैसेंजर के लिए भी आप देख सकते हैं एक बड़ा सा स्क्रीन दिया गया है। लेकिन इसमें सेफ्टी का इंतजाम यह है कि अगर यहां पर कोई पैसेंजर नहीं बैठा हुआ है और कार ने सेंस किया है तो फिर ये स्क्रीन जो है वो एक्टिवेट नहीं होगा। लेकिन ये सेफ्टी का जो फीचर है, इसके अलावा एक और फीचर है जिसका मैं जिक्र करना चाह रहा था। जब आप ड्राइव कर रहे हैं और राइट साइड से या लेफ्ट साइड से जो ब्लाइंड व्यू एक मॉनिटर होता है कि हाँ एक कार ऐसी है या गाड़ी ऐसी है जो आपको रियर व्यू कैमरे में नहीं दिख रही है, तो फिर यहाँ इंडिकेटर एक रेड कलर का जल जाता है। लेकिन इसका नेक्स्ट लेवल भी है इसमें। ये जो आप एम्बियंट लाइट देख रहे हैं, वो अचानक से अगर कोई कार बहुत ज्यादा आपके ब्लाइंड व्यू एरिया से आगे बढ़ के नजदीक आ जाती है और कार को लगता है कि हाँ आपको जानना चाहिए, तो फिर यहां पर ये जो एम्बियंट लाइट है वो रेड में तब्दील हो जाती है और इंडिकेटर भी आपको सुनने को मिलता है। यानी ऑडियो और विजुअल दोनों ही तरीके से कार आपको बताती है कि हाँ पीछे ध्यान से, क्योंकि एक कार आपके नजदीक में राइट में या लेफ्ट में आ रही है। तो गाइस, यहाँ पे कंफर्ट के मामले में तो आप सवाल नहीं करेंगे कि 1.5 करोड़ की कार है और वहां पे मसाज सीट आपको ना मिले, बिल्कुल मिल रहा है। हॉट रिलैक्सिंग बैक, तो यहाँ पर लोअर बैक में फिलहाल मैं महसूस कर पा रहा हूँ हल्का सा वार्म है और अलग अलग इंटेंसिटी आप देख सकते हैं। इंटेंसिव भी आपको ऑप्शन है, आप हल्के से मसाज चाह रहे हैं, इंटेंसिव चाह रहे हैं, मोबिलाइजिंग मसाज, नाइस। तो ये बड़े सारे मसाज फीचर्स आपको इन दोनों सीट पर आगे देखने को मिल रहे हैं। लेकिन आराम के साथ साथ सेफ्टी की हम दरअसल बात करना चाह रहे थे। और वहां पे मैं व्हीकल वाले ऑप्शन में जाऊं तो यहाँ सबसे पहले खटाक से आपको देखने को मिल रहा है एक तो हेड अप डिस्प्ले आप यहाँ देख सकते हैं, जिसमें नंबर्स वगैरह फिलहाल इस कैमरे में तो आप नहीं देख सकते हैं कि मैं जो देख रहा हूँ नंबर, बट यहाँ इससे आप डिस्प्ले आपको मिल जाएगा। ESP है। स्नो चेंज में ये दरअसल रियर एक्सल स्टीयरिंग जो है उसे थोड़ा सा रेस्ट्रिक्ट करता है। रियर एक्सल स्टीयरिंग जो है आपको याद होगा कि हाल फिलहाल में कुछ कार्स में हमने देखी थी, जिसमें जब आप कार को टर्न करते हैं तो पिछला जो पहिया है वो भी थोड़ा सा टर्न होता है डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द कैपेबिलिटी, जिससे कि जो टर्निंग रेडियस है आपकी वो बिल्कुल कम हो जाती है। तो लंबी कार है लेकिन ये हैचबैक या कॉम्पैक्ट कार की तरह बहुत ही कम जगह में टर्न हो जाती है और वहां पे पिछला जो पहिया है वो आपकी मदद करता है। इसके अलावा ये एक बहुत ही स्पोर्टी और बहुत ही एरोडायनेमिक कार है। यहाँ पर आप जब बाहर से भी देखेंगे तो पता चलेगा कि ये हाइट इसकी काफ़ी कम है। तो यहाँ इंडियन कंडीशन में आपको पता ही है स्पीड ब्रेकर्स अलग अलग तरीके के होते हैं, तो आप देखते हुए जो व्हीकल की हाइट है उसे आप कम या ज़्यादा कर सकते हैं। पार्कट्रॉनिक है ही। इसके अलावा ADAS के फीचर्स भी आपको इसमें देखने को मिलेंगे, चाहे वो लेन कीप असिस्ट है, स्टीयरिंग असिस्ट है। इसके अलावा कोलिजन अलर्ट भी है, वो मैं आपको दिखाता हूं किस तरह से आप इसे इस्तेमाल करते हैं। तो ADAS फीचर्स के बारे में बात करते हुए एक टिप भी आपको दूंगा। ये एक्टिव ब्रेक असिस्ट जिस तरह से आप देख सकते हैं, इसे फिलहाल मैंने ऑफ कर दिया है अगर मैं बम्पर टू बम्पर ट्रैफिक में जा रहा हूं। कई बार होता है क्या, इस तरह की टेक्नोलॉजी में आपको ये समझने की जरूरत है कि कार बहुत ही इंटेलिजेंट तरीके से आपके जो इनपुट है उसे कैलकुलेट करता है और ADAS फिर ये कैलकुलेट करता है कि इसे खुद ब खुद ब्रेक लगाना है या नहीं। तो कई बार मैंने देखा है बहुत सारे ड्राइवर्स कंफ्यूज हो जाते हैं जब कार अचानक से सामने वाली कार को रीड करके ब्रेक लगा देती है, बहुत ही वायलेंटली ब्रेक लगता है, और वो अगर आप पीछे सीट बेल्ट आपने नहीं पहना है तो पैसेंजर्स को कई बार बहुत जोर से झटका भी लगता है। वहां पे एक चीज आपको समझने वाली बात जरूर है, वो ये कि आपका जो इनपुट है, अगर कार ये समझ रही है कि आप एक्सेलरेट कर रहे हैं, ब्रेक के ऊपर कुछ भी इनपुट आप नहीं दे रहे हैं, तो फिर ये समझ रही है कि आपका ध्यान शायद सामने वाली गाड़ी पे नहीं है और वो खुद ब खुद ब्रेक लगाती है। लेकिन जरूरी नहीं कि आपने एक्टिव ब्रेक असिस्ट ऑन किया हुआ हो और कार अपने आप ब्रेक लगा ही दे, क्योंकि उसमें ये होता है कि अगर आपने बम्पर टू बम्पर ट्रैफिक में, जैसे मैं चला रहा था शाम में, और वहां पे मैं लगातार ब्रेक के ऊपर भी पांव रख रहा था जब आगे ट्रैफिक था, तो कार ने कहीं भी इमरजेंसी ब्रेकिंग या खुद से खुद ब्रेकिंग नहीं की थी। यानी कार का जो कंप्यूटर है, जो इस एडास सिस्टम का एल्गोरिदम है या लॉजिक है, वो काफी एडवांस्ड है, काफी इवॉल्व है। वहां पे आपको समझने की जरूरत है जरूर। ऐसा नहीं कि टेक्नोलॉजी आ गई और वो खुद ब खुद काम करेगी, आपको भी टेक्नोलॉजी के हिसाब से काम करना होगा। तो इनकेस आपकी कार में एडास है तो आप समझ जाइए कि कार आपकी रीडिंग न सिर्फ बाहर के सराउंडिंग्स को पढ़ रही है, कार्स को पढ़ रही है, पेडेस्ट्रियंस को पढ़ रही है, या सामने से जो गाड़ियां गुजर रही हैं उनको पढ़ रही है, या पीछे से गुजर रही है उनको पढ़ रही है, बहुत सारे फीचर्स हैं, आपके इनपुट को भी पढ़ रही है, उस हिसाब से बिहेव करती है। सो बी वेरी वेरी केयरफुल जब आप नया शुरू करते हैं किसी भी एडास गाड़ी को चलाना। तो ये EQS की स्टोरी के जरिए मैंने सोचा कि ये पॉइंट आपको दे दूं, क्योंकि हाल फिलहाल में हमने देखा है कि अचानक से गाड़ियां ब्रेक लगाती हैं और आपको समझ नहीं आता कि ब्रेक लग क्यों गया। एक और टेक के बारे में आपको बताऊं जो काफी मजेदार मुझे लग रहा है, क्योंकि कैमरास तो आजकल काफी अच्छी क्वालिटी के, अच्छे रेजोल्यूशन वाले सब जगह आ गए हैं, लेकिन जब इस तरह का फीचर देखने को मिलता है तो आपको लगता है कि हाँ, पैसा वसूल है। 1.5 करोड़ की कार है। यहाँ पे जो सिमुलेशन है कार का वो आपको देखने को मिलेगा। ये देखिए, जो हम इस क्लोज्ड सड़क के ऊपर आए थे और वहां पे कार जो है वो मूव करती हुई दिखाई दे रही है, ऑलमोस्ट उसी डिमेंशन में। जो रेशियो है वो भी बिल्कुल रियलिस्टिक आपको देखने को मिलेगा, जिस तरह की सड़क है उस तरह की। और ये देखिए आप, जो मूवमेंट है सारा ऐसा लग रहा है जैसे कि आप किसी वीडियो गेम का हिस्सा है। सो इट्स वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग, रियल एंड वर्चुअल एक साथ। लेकिन यहाँ पर 20 से ऊपर ये गया है और ये स्पीड, एक सेकंड देखते हैं कहाँ तक जाता है। ओके, हाँ, सो 19 टच करते ही ये कैमरा ऑफ हो जाता है। तो ये बहुत ही कूल फीचर है, इस वजह से मैंने स्पीड और कम कर दी है ताकि मैं आपको दिखा सकूं। ये अलग एंगल में आप फिलहाल इसे देख रहे हैं। रियली कूल फीचर। और सबसे इंटरेस्टिंग, जो इंप्रेसिव चीज मुझे इसमें नजर आती है, लुक एट द रेजोल्यूशन, लुक एट द क्लैरिटी। चारों तरफ इस ग्राफिकल इमेज के अलावा बाकी सारी चीजें आपको इतनी रियल इसमें लग रही हैं। जो क्लैरिटी है बहुत ही हाई लेवल का आपको मिलता है, एंड दैट शोज कि किस तरह के कैमरे का इसमें इस्तेमाल हुआ है। वेरी इंप्रेसिव। सो गाइस, ये थे कूल फीचर्स। फिलहाल अब मैं लेके चलता हूँ इसे मेन रोड के ऊपर, इसके ड्राइव का मजा लेता हूँ। आपको ये स्टोरी कैसी लगी, ये सारे फीचर्स आपको कैसे लगे, डू लेट अस नो इन द कमेंट सेक्शन। फिलहाल पूरी टीम को दीजिए इजाजत। बाय बाय, ड्राइव सेफली।
That was easy.
Everyone looks at the world today. At Hyundai, we go beyond with experiences that take us forward. Inspired by our today, we design your tomorrow. Some said electric is the future. We said, why stop there? At Hyundai, we are going beyond mobility, and you are welcome to join us.
You are on top of the world with Times Network, and you're watching Times Now.
आज हम यहाँ पे लेके आए हैं एक बहुत ही अनोखा डिवाइस, द न्यू ओप्पो रेनो 8 प्रो हाउस ऑफ द ड्रैगन्स एडिशन। एंड चलिए इसे अनबॉक्स करते हैं। डब्बा तो काफी बड़ा दिया है इन्होंने।
G from Congress President Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge over his dog analogy.
Kharge sticks to a statement in Parliament in support of Gandhi Parivar's sacrifices for the country. The BJP hits back with Italian Congress jibe to claim that the present Congress is not the party that fought for India's freedom. Law Minister Kiren Rijiju takes on Mallikarjun Kharge, says his comment is an insult to the Indian Army and that he is lowering political discourse. Tawang Monk sends out a very strong message, says Tawang has been part of India for ages and Prime Minister Modi will not spare anyone eyeing Indian territory. An FIR has been filed against Congress leader Ajay Rai for his remark against Union Minister Smriti Irani. The NCW has also taken cognizance of the matter, has summoned him on the 28th of December. Amid a political row over his remarks, Smriti Irani has now hit back sharply at Mr. Ajay Rai, says that if the Gandhi family loves this kind of language, then why will they apologize? NIA has revealed fresh details in its charge sheet in the Umesh Kolhe murder probe. Reveals a Tablighi Jamaat link in the murder, says 11 accused were radicalized Islamists. Amravati MLA Ravi Rana has demanded action against the previous Uddhav Thackeray government, accusing them of trying to trivialize the case involving the murder of Umesh Kolhe. Meanwhile, the Congress party has responded to the NIA's revelations, claiming that there are agencies that are working at the behest of the BJP. Political uproar over Jagdish Titler being given command of the Bharat Jodo Yatra's Delhi leg. Former Punjab Chief Minister and Akali Dal leader Sukhbir Singh Badal slams the Congress for openly backing those linked to the 1984 killings. Now, days before elections, in fact, the elections in Karnataka will be held in the month of May. BJP government prepares a bill to ban halal meat in Karnataka. The Congress calls it the Bommai government's bid to undermine constitution in the name of Hindutva. Karnataka BJP's ex-ministers K. Ishwarappa and Ramesh Jarkiholi boycott assembly, demanding reinduction into the state cabinet. Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai reacts to this call for a boycott, saying that their demands have been discussed with the High Command. Delhi Lieutenant Governor Mr. V.K. Saxena directs the Delhi Chief Secretary to recover Rs 97 crore from the Aam Aadmi Party for political advertisements that it had published as government ads. Alleged conman Sukesh Chandrasekhar and actor Jacqueline Fernandez appeared before the Delhi Patiala House Court in the 200 crore money laundering case. Jacqueline has moved an application seeking to travel overseas. The court will be hearing this application on the 22nd of December. After the letter, Sukesh Chandrasekhar reiterated his claim of paying Rs 60 crore to the Arvind Kejriwal government while being escorted out of the Patiala House Court, says that he's given everything he's claimed in writing. Now, the Bharatiya Janata Party ups the ante against Arvind Kejriwal and says that now that Sukesh has once again confessed to his claim of paying Rs 60 crores to the AAP, how longer can Arvind Kejriwal continue to pay the victim card? The Kerala High Court has pulled up the state government led by the LDF for its delay in recovering damages caused during the statewide bandh in Kerala called by the Popular Front of India on the 23rd of September. Tamil Nadu becomes the first non-BJP government to form a panel to review personal laws. This comes at a time when the chorus for Uniform Civil Code is growing across different states in the country. However, the DMK has made it clear that though they have set up a panel to review personal laws, it does not necessarily pave the path towards a UCC. Meanwhile, the BJP is unsure about the motive of the DMK government. It says that it has signalled that the move must be an attempt to find loopholes in the implementation of a Uniform Civil Code. The BJP holds Parliamentary Party meet in Delhi. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh and other leaders were present. Prime Minister Modi laid emphasis on the celebration of the International Millet Year 2023 during this meet. Lunch at the Parliament included meals made of millets. The leader of the opposition, Mr. Kharge, was also present. A team of Excise Department officials was actually attacked with rods and stones by people associated with the liquor business in West Champaran in Bihar. 2 cops were injured. The Mahavikas Aghadi staged a protest against the state government outside the State Assembly in Nagpur during the winter session of the Assembly there. Demands the resignation of Chief Minister Eknath Shinde. A case has been registered in Prayagraj against 43 security guards in connection with the clashes at the Allahabad University campus yesterday over a recent hike in fees. BJYM burnt an effigy of Bollywood actor Shah Rukh Khan during a protest in Hyderabad, demanding the removal of the song Besharam Rang from the movie Pathan. Over 500 ABVP members staged a protest against Mangalore University for delaying the results, demanded an immediate release of the mark sheets. Farmers of Zira staged a protest for the third day in a row against the establishment of a liquor factory in the village. Police lathi charged the protesters. This happened in Punjab. BJP slammed the Aam Aadmi Party Punjab government for lathi charging farmers instead of shutting down the liquor factory in question. Now, in a shocking twist to the abduction of an 18-year-old woman in Telangana, police said that she had staged the kidnapping to elope with her 24-year-old boyfriend. Later, they got married inside a temple. A teacher in Karnataka's Gadag has killed a student by hitting him with a shovel and then throwing him off the school's first floor. The teacher is now absconding. Over 20 students in Karnataka's Koppal have been admitted to a hospital after consuming school food. Investigation is underway. In another case of civic apathy in Mangaluru in Karnataka, an elderly woman fell into a pit dug up almost a month ago by civic agencies and suffered injuries. She is now being rescued by locals. In a boost to the defence capabilities of the country, the fifth submarine of Project 75 INS Wagir has been delivered to the Indian Navy. Almost 60 local youth of Jammu and Kashmir received special training by the Indo-Tibetan Border Police to prepare for recruitment in the Indian Army. Indian shares declined, dragged by a broad-based losses across sectors on fears of recession in the United States and a surge in COVID-19 cases in China. Google and Alphabet CEO Sundar Pichai met the External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar in Delhi. They discussed India's digital transformation. India has recorded 112 new COVID-19 infections and 3 related fatalities over the last 24 hours. China scrambles to install hospital beds as authorities report 5 more deaths, experts suspicious of many more. Union Health Secretary writes to states to step up genome sequencing considering massive number of cases in China and the US. President Vladimir Putin of Russia says the situation in areas of Ukraine that Moscow has declared are part of Russia is extremely difficult and has ordered forces to step up surveillance. The US panel probing the January 6 Capitol building attack has asked prosecutors to charge Donald Trump with 4 crimes including obstruction and insurrection. Sudanese security forces used stun grenades and tear gas to disperse crowds of protesters rallying on the 4th anniversary of the uprising that had toppled the former leader Omar al-Bashir. Former movie producer Harvey Weinstein has been found guilty of rape and 2 other sexual assault counts, marking the 2nd conviction of the one-time Hollywood kingmaker. Argentina's World Cup winning squad arrived home to a jubilant Buenos Aires with a massive crowd lining the streets and cheering the return of the champions. England won the 3rd test against Pakistan in Karachi by 8 wickets and swept the series 3-0. And finally, Rohit Sharma and Navdeep Saini have been ruled out of the 2nd test to be held in Mirpur against Bangladesh after sustaining injuries. It is undeniable now. There is a clear line of evidence which proves the Islamist link to the Umesh Kolhe murder case. Times now has managed to access the NIA charge sheet which shows that 11 accused were radicalized by the Tablighi Jamaat ideology and the motive was to terrorize a section of the population. Their murderous mindset was guided by a sar tan se juda belief to punish those whom they deem guilty of insulting the Prophet Muhammad. But now, Times Now will get you 4 specific, undeniable digital evidences which reveals the larger conspiracy of the Islamists and the manner in which they proceeded to murder Umesh Kolhe.
Thank you for that, and we're going to quickly put out all of those details in a graphic format for our viewers to understand this in as many words. Pranesh, how this was a gruesome murder plot, and this is what we know, viewers. We put out those details. This is a map graphics. We tell you about the route that was followed by Umesh Kolhe's murderers and how is it that they conducted a recce of this entire area. Remember, they conducted a recce. We'll put out those details as well on the plot that they followed while they conducted a recce. But before that, this is the route that we're talking about. The killers there, undeniable electronic data. These are the men who worked on the Sar Tan Se Juda plot. Now, Kolhe shut his shop, headed to home at 10 p.m. 10 p.m. in the night is when they followed him closely, waited for the right opportunity before they ambushed him, and this is where he was on his two-wheeler. Remember, viewers, this gruesome murder took place in front of his son's eyes. That's the gory detail that we're talking about. Accused were waiting for him. They were waiting for the right opportunity, for the right isolated spot before they went ahead for the kill. The spot where Kolhe was stabbed on his neck, this is the spot on the map, viewers. So they waited for him. This is close to 10 p.m. on the 21st of June when this murder took place, and that's the route for you. We also put out details of how this was pre-planned to an extent that there were calls that were made between all of the accused. Cell tower location of the murder, a day also that Times Now has accessed. Accused met repeatedly 2 days before the murder. This is the extent to which the pre-planning went on. Shows 3 accused carried out the recce of Kolhe, and the accused, 11 accused in total as per the NI charge sheet, clearly mentioned their affiliation, clearly mentioned. It shows the 3 accused at the scene of the crime during the recce. They conducted an in-depth investigation into the route they're going to be following. They looked deeply into the route that Umesh Kolhe used to take while he used to return from his shop. Every day, 10 p.m. that night is when they targeted him, singled him out, looked for an isolated spot, and then went ahead for the kill. During the murder, accused left phones in an ambulance. Can you believe this? They left the phones in an ambulance to erase all possible proof of murder crime. One accused shuts off his phone for 8 hours during the murder. For good 8 hours, one of the accused had turned off their phones. The other were in touch, constant touch, for the last 3 days while this pre-planning was going on.
Now remember, when Umesh Kolhe was murdered in Amravati, the initial probe was done by the Amravati police, which according to the opposition had dismissed the killing as a robbery bid. This is the claim being made by the local MLA of Amravati as well as the Member of Parliament. Now today, the then Gaali Sarkar has been asked some tough questions on the part of the BJP among others.
अब जब रिपोर्ट आया है तो कार्रवाई हो रही है, लेकिन इस देश में, इस महाराष्ट्र में शुरुआत से ऐसा हुआ है, शुरुआत से कि हिंदुत्ववादी संगठन को, हिंदुत्ववादी कार्यकर्ताओं को कुचल के मारने का काम हुआ, देश में हुआ, महाराष्ट्र में हुआ है। उनको जो अपने खिलाफ दिखता, उनको खत्म ही करने का काम करते थे महाविकास आघाड़ी के लोग।
I think the opposition that time they used to work only for votes and their party support. Because of that, the religion angle, they never wanted to come up. In there, when this Mahavikas Aghadi was there in Maharashtra, that time if you see, if you remove the data, we've got all the rights, Hindu-Muslim rights happened in Maharashtra itself.
When these ghastly incidents took place, at that time state government was with Mahavikas Aghadi. And as usual, they suppress these all incidents because they do not believe in Islamic terrorism, Islamic Atankawad, and that's why we demanded that NIA should take over the case. NIA took over rightly and they now investigated and they named Tablighi Jamaat.
Let's also now listen into how the Congress party has condemned the hate but will not condemn Islamist radicalism?
All agencies, whether it is CBI, whether it's ED, whether it's NIA, all other income tax authorities, they're all working towards one common purpose, and that is to somehow put pressure on the opposition leaders, MLAs, MPs, and force them to change sides or stifle their voice. So there's nothing new. This is going to happen till the next election, till the people of India defeat BJP and defend Mr. Narendra Modi.
This is a matter related to police. If any incidents happen, whoever belongs to any party, any religion, if they give a loose statement where the two communities can have a problem or the country can have a problem, those people should be taken into severe sections and should be punished.
See, whatever has happened is not right, and that is not the culture of our country. Here we've been staying together for so long, but out of the blue moon, everybody has started hating each other for what? It's not right, and whatever has happened is not right at all.
Now it seems that there is no end to Gaali politics in this country. Mallikarjun Kharge's remark has sparked an all-out war of words between the Congress and the BJP. Yesterday, while addressing a rally, the Congress President Mr. Kharge said that Indira Gandhi as well as Rajiv Gandhi had sacrificed their lives for the nation. Questioning the BJP's contribution during the course of that speech, he asked, "Did any of your dogs die for the country?" Those were his words. Now this has left the BJP fuming and slamming the Congress left, right and centre. The Union Minister, Mr. Padmaja Joshi, said that the Italian Congress with a rubber stamp president, now these are his words, have completely lost the plot. Let's listen in.
तो हमने आजादी लाई है, देश को आजादी दिलाई है और देश के एकता के लिए श्रीमती इंदिरा गांधी जी अपनी जान कुर्बान करी है। राजीव गांधी जी अपने जान दिए इस देश के एकता के लिए। हमारे पार्टी के नेताओं ने जान दिया, तुम क्या किए? आपके घर में कोई देश के लिए कुत्ता तो मरा है?
कांग्रेस पार्टी के अध्यक्ष और लीडर ऑफ द अपोजिशन इन राज्यसभा कल राजस्थान में अलवर में जो भाषा प्रयोग किया है, अभद्र भाषा, ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी की तरफ से और पार्लियामेंट्री पार्टी अफेयर्स के मंत्री के नाते, पूरा पार्लियामेंट के नाते मैं घोर निंदा करता हूं। आई स्ट्रांगली कंडेम दिस कांग्रेस इज नॉट ए ओरिजिनल कांग्रेस, इट इज ए इटालियन कांग्रेस लेड बाय सम अदर पीपल। तो ये नकली कांग्रेस है, नकली नेता लोग है। रबर स्टैंप का अध्यक्ष ऐसे बोलते हैं, तो ये हम स्ट्रांगली कंडेम करते हैं।
Now there was a fallout of Mallikarjun Kharge's remark inside the Parliament premises as well, and there was chaos once again. Outside of Parliament, a battery of ministers began demanding an apology from Mr. Kharge and said that the Congress president has insulted martyrs by branding them as dogs. Within Parliament, Mr. Piyush Goyal rose up and said that Mr. Kharge was a living example of why Mahatma Gandhi wanted the Congress party to be disbanded after independence.
I cannot believe that Mallikarjun Kharge, Congress president, can stoop so low and use this kind of very objectionable remarks. It is very distasteful for the political leaders to use such language.
आजादी के बाद गांधी जी ने कहा था कांग्रेस पार्टी को ही वाइंड अप कर देना चाहिए। खरगे जी